the Adam Gold Show. Hi, everyone. I am Adam Gold. That is Victoria. Hope everybody is doing well.
It's Thursday. I have to remind...
You are correct.
I don't know if I'm reminding other people or
right.
myself,
Yes.
but it's Thursday.
It's the first one you got right today.
I know.
So, I know we're normally on YouTube. I think we might be experiencing operating difficulties.
I know.
At
I don't
least
know
the
why the
screen-
template is still up there. They can't see our lovely Thursday faces.
Hi, I'm
What
waving.
is going
I'm
on?
waving. But you can always find us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search Adam Gold Show, 99.9 The Fan. That is our home base, our home office, if you will. And but we're here you can hear us all across the state. You can hear us in Wilmington and Asheville, Greenville, Charlotte, eventually, later. Not right now. But so we're here. We got a lot of stuff to do. We probably won't delve that much into college football today because I know we have a huge weekend of college basketball. UNC is going to make their return or their first trip to Lawrence, Kansas since 1960.
Wow. That's a minute ago.
1960 the last time the Tar Heels played at Kansas. Now, they've met before, usually NCAA tournament times, and Duke has routinely played Kansas in that Champions Classic. Every third year they will face off against the Jayhawks there. But, these two programs have shared lineage because of Dean Smith, who is a Kansas grad. Obviously, we all know what his legacy is at North Carolina. And Roy Williams got his coaching start there. And Roy said he won't go to a game in Kansas because he would feel bad rooting for somebody to make a basket against Kansas.
True.
He's so conflicted because obviously the place holds such a dear part of his heart. And one of the things I love about Roy, and I actually think I'm going to see him on Sunday. I am hosting the American Cancer Society Gala Sunday evening.
Oh, wow.
And, I did it last year, too, and I had a great time. And I'm sure we're going to have a great time again this year.
Yeah.
And Roy was, I was going to say at my table, but that would be the opposite. I was at Roy's table. But he's such an emotional person that it's cool to see how these things impact him. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about that. Assuming he's going to be there, I assume he will. It's in Chapel Hill, the gala this year. So
he would be fun to share a table with.
Oh,
the stories, that would be great.
Real life. My son is a Duke basketball fan. His grandmother is a big Duke basketball fan. His grandfather is a Carolina fan.
Oh, rivals.
So, and he likes both, but he is more of a Duke fan. But last year, for various reasons, he was with me at the gala, so he was sitting at the table. So at our table was Roy Williams and Tubby Smith. Among others, we also had a couple of former Hurricanes. Cam Ward was with us. Patrick Eves, who played for the Hurricanes, who now lives in town here. So they were there. They're part of a sports panel. So Jack is sitting at the table, right next to Roy.
No big deal. It's fine.
He's got pictures on his phone.
Another day.
On his phone, he and Roy Williams.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
So it was very cool. I hope to see Roy Williams this weekend at the gala. So, all right, we ready?
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
All right. Play the breaking news sounder, even though this really isn't breaking news now, but why not? We have a breaking news sounder. We might as well break it. And I use it for this reason, because you probably know the news already anyway. The Carolina Panthers made a smart business decision today.
What?
This is the most surprising thing to me.
So unlike them. I
Yes.
love this.
Chuba Hubbard, 4-year deal, just under $34 million total. But It isn't going to be that much unless he plays all 4 years, and I don't think we're going to get to year 3 and 4. But it doesn't really matter if you do bonus, because that means he has outperformed the contract, to be honest.
Yeah.
He is currently 5th in the NFL in rushing. Now, the rushing title is pretty much over. Derrick Henry will own that unless, I don't know, like Baltimore falls into the sea, if it tumbles into the bay and Derrick Henry can't get out in time.
Maybe.
He is so far and away ahead of everybody else right now in rushing. And he's averaging 6.7 yards a carry.
Just
What?
a few.
Excuse you?
Just a few.
So Hubbard is 5th in the NFL in rushing. He's averaging 5 yards per rush. He's got 5 rushing TDs, getting a little better in the receiving game. He's caught, I think, 25 passes. He's got a receiving touchdown as well. And he still hasn't been overworked, which you can take as a little bit of a slam to Dave Canales, because I think he should be touching the ball even more. And maybe he will going forward as the trade deadline has passed and nobody wants Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
And also, we should be seeing more Jonathan Brooks get some carries here and there. I don't know how close Jonathan Brooks is. He's listed 2nd on the depth chart.
Mm-hmm.
Sanders is listed 3rd. So maybe we're going to start seeing more or it's not more, any Jonathan Brooks, who has no carries yet. But ultimately, we know that the player that they took in the 2nd round, and after a series of moves, actually traded back up in the 2nd round to get him, that he's going to start seeing the ball, and next year, this will be the tandem. And the reason I say it's a smart business decision, I know the knee-jerk reaction, the automatic reflex when the Panthers do something is, well, that was stupid.
Mm-hmm. It's just repetition now.
Yeah,
It's
right.
muscle memory.
It's Pavlov.
Yep.
The bell goes off.
Yep.
Time to eat.
Start drooling.
So the Panthers have a transaction. Well, why'd they do that? But this is actually smart. And it's smart for a number of reasons, but it's smart because in my opinion, he has performed at a level which says, yeah, this is a good, at the very least, part of a tandem in the NFL. And yes, the Panthers' history, for the most part, is a shared running back room. Whether it's D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart, or others.
They're really the only two of them.
I don't know. There have been others. I just don't remember them.
They're the only
And
ones
it doesn't
worth
even
remembering.
Matter. It doesn't even matter. So, but this is what they should be doing. And this is really what most teams in the NFL do now. Like, there might be one guy who's a little bit better than the other, but most teams are using 2 backs because there are so few who demand I get the ball all the time. Right now, that's Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia. That's Derrick Henry in Baltimore. And for the most part, I would say that's Christian McCaffrey, but he's a little bit of a different type of back.
And he has to get on the field.
Right, he hasn't been there yet.
Yeah.
Alvin
Might
Kamara.
be Joe Mixon. So
Maybe, but he's in
he's the only
Houston
one.
now, and I know he's been in and out of the lineup a little bit. But so everybody's got a tandem, and this is what the Panthers are going to be going forward, and they should be. But here's the other reason why this was a good deal. Again, I pointed out that he has not been overused. Forget about this year. In his career, last year was the first time he was really a featured back. He still had less than 250 carries. So in 17 games, you're talking about an average of, 14, 15 carries a game? I'm trying to do the math. Yeah, something like that, right? That's not a lot. And he was barely featured in the passing game the last couple of years. So there's not a lot of, he's got plenty of tread left on the tires, to use that phrase. Jonathan Brooks is going to be part of it. He's on a cheap deal for after this year. The next 3 years, he's on a cheap deal. The 4th year of that will be a little bit more expensive, but it's not prohibitive. And just keep this in mind. This Hubbard deal, after 2 years, they can get out of it without anything major.
That's nice.
So we get bent out of shape. Why are they for 4 years? Like, nah, man, it's probably a 2-year deal. And after 2 years, if he's still playing well, then you're way ahead of the game because now you've got an established guy for low money. But if Jonathan Brooks is good, they might have a decision to make with Jonathan Brooks. My guess is very few running backs get a second contract anyway. And Hubbard is getting this because he hadn't done much in the first 3 years of his career. Last year was the first year. He was under 4 yards a carry last year. This is a very good deal for Carolina because especially for the next 2 years after this, the running back room will not cost them a lot of money. And they've got two guys, assuming Jonathan Brooks is good, they've got two guys that can clearly carry the ball. So good for the Panthers. So, yes, that's where the breaking news comes in. Also, Dave Canales, the head coach, officially named Bryce Young the starting quarterback yesterday. So, am I crazy? Or a day earlier, so yesterday was Wednesday, right?
Yes.
On Tuesday, didn't Canales say he wasn't going to name a starter because basically he wanted the Giants to prepare for two quarterbacks?
Yes.
Right? He did. I want to make sure that I was here for that. So apparently he thinks the Giants maybe left early and they're not getting this news, or he realized that he was being coy for no real reason.
There's no telling.
I mean, okay. It was always laughable. I have no idea why he declined to name a starting quarterback. Should have done it Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Could have done it Monday. Should have, didn't. Could have done it Tuesday. Should have, didn't.
Yeah, because we ended our show yesterday with breaking news
Right.
of Canales actually making the choice.
All right. So we're going to hear from Dave Canales and Bryce Young here in a second. All right, actually, let's do this now. All right, so Canales on what Bryce has shown to start again.
Finding throws down the field, a lot of it's chemistry with the guys he's been working with, and finding completions, some really cool explosive plays that showed up in the game. Just our third down operation. I know we didn't have the best third down day that we wanted to, but I saw progress there just with the whole group,
getting
up and operating that way, and a lot of the other specific things, again, I won't go into those details. Those are private conversations in the QB room. So I'll keep it at that. But, just the steps forward, the progress, and then the finish, and that's what we look for. We're looking for that finish.
There are a lot of private conversations in this league.
A lot of secrecy.
Yeah.
A lot of secrecy. All right, let's get to why he's been non-committal on a quarterback. This might be from Tuesday.
I thought Andy did a good job when he was in there as well. And then of course, a car accident and a sprained thumb, put us in this situation. But, as Bryce gets back in there to see the progress and to see those things, gives me, confidence to give him another chance. But at the same time, I want to do what's best for the team. And that requires us taking all the information in and seeing how we operate.
Beautiful. All right, Bryce. Now, there was a situation in the game against New Orleans where Bryce Young, after one of those, why are we calling these plays type of series, Bryce Young went to the head coach and they chatted.
It was just a conversation about the flow of it wasn't anything that was out of the ordinary. It's the same conversation we'd had after every drive. I wasn't frustrated at the play calling. It was, I'm a competitor. We were both frustrated because we didn't, it was a 3-and-out, just like any other 3-and-out. Whether for whatever reason, anytime we don't score, and we're competitors. So, it wasn't anything about that. It was just, all of us had that same mindset. Obviously, we didn't get it done that drive, and it was just, all right, what are, things to get better at for next drive, things to do. And that's the same conversation we have after every drive. Even after drives that score, it's all right, what are we doing next drive? So, it wasn't anything different.
I almost feel like that was looped, like that clip could have been 15 seconds.
It could have been. Minus the ping pong. Did you notice they don't have the ping pong in the background now?
It's too bad.
Now they have ping pong privileges, and they're not using them.
I like ping pong. All right, what about the offense last week that maybe carries over?
Yeah, I think it was great for us as a unit, as a team, just to finish the way. Also, not downplaying the defense, coming up with a huge stop in a huge moment. Again, it was a 1-point game. They had time, and for the defense to come up big like that too. Again, full team win. So I think it was great for us just to be able to do it and play off of each other, play complementary, and both sides of the ball step up. And now again, it's just building off of it, making sure that we can harness it, continue to grow, continue to build off of it, and it was great while it lasted. And now it's just what can we do better?
It was great while it lasted. All right, my read on Bryce Young getting the start again, because I think there are only two things that can happen the rest of this season. And if I were the Panthers, I would start Bryce Young for as long as he looks competent.
Might as well.
I mean, there's no offense to Andy Dalton. He's not putting you in the playoffs, so don't waste any reps on Andy Dalton that you don't have to. He's there. Hey, that thumb injury. I hate the fact that he was in a car accident. I hate all of the reasons why Andy Dalton suffered a thumb injury. But it got the Panthers really to where they needed to be with their quarterback spot. So there are two things I think that could happen the rest of the season, and only two. One, Bryce Young proves to be good enough to be Carolina's quarterback, at least for 2 more years. At least until you make a decision, you're not going to extend him. You're not going to pick up the 5th-year option, or you are, but you can move him, right? So the rest of this season, he plays reasonably well. He looks like he can be an NFL quarterback. Then there you go. Then you've got a quarterback, at least until you're in a position to upgrade the position. That's fine. That honestly, that's the best case scenario. The second part of that is Bryce plays reasonably well, and he improves his trade value. Because two things about, and you could use the Sam Darnold example. Darnold, after playing poorly but showing flashes with the Jets, was worth what, 2 second-round picks from the Panthers? I think that was the compensation. And for a guy who had been a starter and a high draft pick at quarterback, who has a good arm, and people remembered the good old days when Darnold was at least good, I mean, it got you some value in return. I don't know what Bryce Young's going to bring you on the open market, but if he plays reasonably well the rest of this season, then maybe he can get you a second-round pick in return.
That'd be nice.
Right? So if you moved him in this offseason, maybe somebody looks at Bryce as a very good backup who might be able to turn into something else. I don't know. So all you're doing in a positive way is rebuilding his trade value the longer he plays. And again, the longer he looks competent. And if he's preventing you from being successful, then you can always go back to Dalton. But people have seen enough good from Bryce where I think he has some value in the offseason if you wanted to trade him. And ultimately, I think that's what they're going to do. All right, Canes are home to the Penguins tonight. Homestand comes to an end. They came home from the 6-game trip, 4 at home. They have won the first 3 of this homestand. They are looking to win their 8th in a row. Martin Necas is looking to score or have a point in his 8th straight game. The last 4 have been multi-point games. He's got 6 goals and 11 assists in the last 7 games.
Good streak to have.
My gosh, he has been everything for this team. I actually tweeted it out not that long ago. The video from the go-ahead goal was circulating, and when you watch it again, there's so many good things. I almost wish that they had tweeted out the entire shift.
Yeah.
Because you would have seen Necas in full hero mode with a cape and everything. And ultimately, he doesn't take the initial shot. He comes and scoops up the rebound. But everything that led up to that play was top-notch from him and others, but he was the leader of it. And then Jesperi Kotkaniemi takes the shot, but Eric Robinson, who I think has been an enormous part of that line, is right in front of the goaltender. The shot actually doesn't get through. I think it hits Robinson and falls to the, if you're looking at the goal, the left side of the net, and Natchez swoops in and punches it in. But it was so many good things about that play. And then I wish the video had continued to see Natchez on the bench doubled over in agony because he was exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
gassed, as he put it yesterday.
Totally gassed. It's what I tweeted out during the game. All right. So you've got Natchez hopefully continuing that. Interesting for me about the Hurricanes, and I have a couple of positives, and then I have a question mark. But I am interested in how many Hurricanes, I know it's just 11 games in, have more goals than Sebastian Aho. Aho's got 3. He's tied for 7th on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Natchez and Jack Roslovic each have 7. Andrei Svechnikov has 5. Shane Gostisbehere, Seth Jarvis, and Jackson Blake have 4. Aho has 3. For the most part, I think Aho has been great. I didn't think he was great against the Flyers, but I thought he was great against Washington and the game before against Boston. I thought he was awesome. We get enamored with points, especially for your best players, and I think Sebastian is 9 points in 11 games. It's not great. It's also, for a non-productive part of his season, not bad. We know he is going to have maybe not a similar stretch to what Natchez is doing, but he's going to have stretches where he's, 15 points in 10 games. It's going to happen. And so he'll be at or above a point a game probably pretty soon. Maybe after tonight, to be honest. Because it's not like he's got 5 points in 11 games. He has 9. So they're doing all this without him on the score sheet a lot. I would also throw Seth Jarvis into that conversation, even though he has 4 goals. But he has not been all over the score sheet so far this year. So there's that. The new guys have all worked out. Every single one of them is playing a very important role on this team. And credit to the front office for identifying players that fit what Carolina wants to do, and the team fits how they want to play. And here is my one question. The team needs better from Pyotr Kochetkov. It's not that he's been bad, although there were a couple of games where he wasn't good. I think 2 of the 4 goals for sure fall on him against the Flyers. If you go back and you look at all 4 goals, the second goal to me is he's way too deep in his net. Now, there were other problems on those goals, but on that one, he was way too deep in his net. And to me, that's on him. And the 4th goal can't go. So you can't allow when you allow a bad goal, you can get away with it if you're significantly better than the other team, and the Hurricanes are better than Philadelphia or were, and they still almost didn't get away with it. But I bring this up all the time. When you get to the postseason or against the top teams in the league, nope, you ain't getting away with it. Just not getting away with a bad goal. So they need for Kochetkov to kind of clean his game up on a consistent basis a little bit. The game against Washington, I thought he was spectacular. He wasn't flashy, but he was everything the head coach wants. And I thought against Philadelphia, not. Mm-hmm. So, 5th straight start for Kochetkov tonight. By the way, even though there's not a lot to say about it, the Bengals are in Baltimore tonight.
They are.
And if you are the Cincinnati Bengals and you have designs on making the playoffs, And I think they can still get in even if they were to lose tonight. But let me just paint this very simple scenario. I don't think Cincinnati's going to win the division even if they were to win this tonight. The Bengals, for as bad as they've been, at 4-5, are only one game out of the last playoff spot.
Right.
The 5-4 Broncos right now hold the 7th playoff spot, the 3rd wild card. The Bengals are better than the Broncos.
Yes.
I know they're also tied with the Colts. They're better than the Colts, too. The Colts are a little bit of a mess. So even if Cincinnati were to lose this and fall to 4-6, ultimately, I think 9-8 is going to be the last playoff spot in the AFC.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right? I think somebody's going to get a wild card if you're 9-8, but you're basically down to tiebreakers there. But I still think they could be 10-7, even if they were to lose tonight. But at some point, the Bengals are going to have to win some of these games. And to this point, they haven't. That home loss to Washington was eye-opening in two different ways. Eye-opening against Cincinnati, but also eye-opening for Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Washington, who next week will be, was it in Philadelphia? Or again, I know they're playing against.
I think they're at home.
They're playing the Eagles on Thursday Night Football. But we will talk with Grant Paulsen, who does radio in Washington, D.C., about the Commandos and where they sit atop the NFC East. We'll do that next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez heads up. Back to Orlov. He scores! A 1-2 punch from Dmitry Orlov. It's 3-2 on Orlov, second of the game.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
If you're like most Americans, you have a ton of credit card debt, and you're paying insane interest rates on that debt every month. Same for car loans and personal loans. Stop getting ripped off. Let Loan Pronto consolidate that debt for you at a significantly lower rate using the equity in your home. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Express Equity line of credit can get you up to $500,000 so you can consolidate your debt in as fast as 5 days. Their average client saves over $1,000 every month by doing this. Right now is the best time to act. With an Express Equity line of credit, you can access up to 90% of your home's equity, usually without an appraisal. Don't put it off. Get your financial house in order for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now to see what you can save. It's a free quote, and there's no credit pull, unlike those other guys. Call now, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Ram Black Friday sales event is going on now, with great deals on a wide selection of powerful and dependable Ram trucks. Now finance and get $7,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Go to ram.com and hurry to your local Ram dealer for this Black Friday offer. $7,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Financing for well-qualified buyers through Stellantis Financial. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 12/2/24.
Will you make the right call? Time's running out, pressure's on, and you need your roof replaced. Hi, I'm Holly from RoofWorks. It's 4th and goal, and the decision's in your hands. The competition can't stop you. You're about to score the game winner. We've trained for years for this moment to raise the roof for you. So avoid the noise and put us in the game. Call RoofWorks today or visit us online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Hey, man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you.
Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers it's hard to choose, you know?
I know. You know, they got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Durrally Road. Open 7 days a week.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This is Adam Gold.
Georgia needs Alabama to beat LSU right now. And Georgia fans are beside themselves thinking that they have to root for Alabama for anything. So, I mean, it's messy everywhere.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos.
I feel like it should be a Super Sounds of the 70s day. I thought you might like that for your Thursday.
It.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right?
By Ronco.
Yes.
I had several of those albums when I was a kid. We used to buy those off TV. Time Life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like the best hits of 1973. Nice. That was probably right in that range.
Probably
by the way. Look, I'm all about best hits of the 70s.
Yeah.
Grant Paulsen wasn't even alive in the 70s. I'm convinced of it. 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C. Grant and Danny. So let's talk about the Washington Commanders because, look, I'm good friends with Chick Hernandez, and we talked before the season, and I thought that there was something interesting about them. It was a pump the brakes situation. So we're now beyond the halfway mark. They're 7-2. What are your thoughts today about the potential for this team?
Well, it's been a stunning progression for them this year. If you go back to 1 year ago at this time, they had just sold off their top 2 defensive ends at the trade deadline, trying to bottom out because they were bad and they were going to be firing their coach and their entire staff and starting over. And they were trying to add as many picks as possible to sweeten the pot for a new GM and a new head coach to come in here. And then they hired Adam Peters from San Francisco, who was the assistant GM to John Lynch. And then they brought in Dan Quinn for his second chance as a head coach, the former Atlanta Falcons head coach who had been to D.C. and Dallas. And at Quinn's opening press conference, he wouldn't use the word rebuild, but he said that they were recalibrating. And it was pretty clear that they felt like, based on the current roster, which went 4-13 and picked second overall, that they were in for a really probably lengthy process, right? Maybe you're more competitive, you solidify your roster with the guys you want, and you're better than 4 wins. And the owner, I was sitting in a press conference on the final preseason game, pre-game presser, said, we expect to be better than we were last year, but I don't necessarily need this team to be in the playoffs this season, right? This is going to take time.
Right.
And now you fast forward and they're 7-2. Quinn might be the coach of the year. Peters is probably the executive of the year as of this moment. Jaden Daniels is the rookie of the year, who they took second out of LSU and is in the MVP chase, and they're legit. I mean, this is a very, very good team. I would say only the Detroit Lions right now in the NFC are better than Washington, which isn't to say that anybody couldn't beat them in the playoffs. But if you're doing some type of power ranking resume right now just based on this season so far, I think you would have to have the Commanders near the very top of the conference behind only Detroit.
Oh, well, Detroit is on a different level. I think we all agree at this point. Detroit looks like an absolute machine. They have more touchdowns than incompletions since the third week of the season. We're starting week 10. It is just incredible. Grant Paulsen, Grant and Danny, 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C. You mentioned the new owner. What is the impact of ownership here?
It's everything. The whole ball game. Prior to Josh Harris with Dan Snyder, even when things were going okay in fleeting moments, which was almost never, you didn't feel like there was any real chance for hope because they did not have the infrastructure of the program in place that was necessary to win in the National Football League. Dan Snyder never hired and empowered a general manager to choose a head coach and then allowed that football person to run the football operation. That's what happens in good programs. When owners are involved, you guys know a little bit about this, more than they should be. See Dallas with Jerry Jones as an example over the last 30 years and what a joke they've become. It does not work. You need to hire and entrust people who run football outfits, who have football knowledge, who are talent evaluators. They never did it. And so this is the first time really since Snyder took over in 99 that they've tried it that way again. And lo and behold, it's working pretty well. Now, it doesn't mean you immediately get to win, right? You got to pick the right people. And to some extent, there's a little magical carpet ride that they're on right now. Like they've got some of that lucky pixie dust, whatever you want to call it, going where sometimes it's just if you get the quarterback, nothing else matters. And it seems like maybe they got the quarterback too. But I think that the whole world is different here because when Dan Snyder was the owner, the then Redskins or Commanders, let's say, could have handed a fan a water bottle. And they would have said, oh, there's a little bit of, this bottle that doesn't have water in it. Like, what happened?
Right.
And now if Josh Harris hands you the same water bottle, you go, man, this is the greatest water I've ever seen. I can't believe you're nice enough to give me this water bottle. So when you kind of operate that way with that type of optimism and hope, it changes a lot of things. And I think from the top down at every level of the organization, that's what's happening.
Yeah, I want to get to maybe the fan reaction and all of that in a second. But let's get to real quick football. The addition of Marshawn Lattimore. Now, maybe he's not the four-time Pro Bowler, automatic shutdown corner of the past. I don't see any reason why he can't be that, certainly with the energy of moving up however many spots in the standings to go from where the Saints are to where Washington is right now is obviously huge. But what does he do? Is his impact more than just having one of those cornerbacks?
Well, I think it is. First and foremost, they were bad at corner.
Right.
That was their weakest position, and they're now better at the area where they had the biggest issues. So that in and of itself, really, really easy way to get better. Where are we not good enough? Let's go get a really good football player. And that's what they did if Lattimore is healthy, four-time Pro Bowler, as you mentioned. This is a guy who's been a lead in All-Pro at one point in time. He immediately gives you a chance to help out. Elevate by everyone else bumping down the depth chart. Their number one corner, Benjamin St-Juste, over the last several weeks is not a number one corner. He's been moonlighting in that role and struggling. He should be a number two. So now he becomes your two. Mikey Sandersville, they drafted out of Michigan where he won a natty title last year. He was playing outside. He's really a nickel corner. That's what they drafted him to be. Now they get to move him back to the nickel. So there's a lot of situations like that where everyone gets to be a little more what they should be, asked to do a little bit less. But here's the hidden beauty of bringing in Lattimore, in my opinion. Adam, they're bad against the run, and I think this is where they're going to get a lot better quickly. Dan Quinn really hasn't been allowed to run a lot of man coverage, which he likes to do. It's been mostly zone.
Okay.
That's how the league's trended anyway. But if you have Marshawn Lattimore, maybe you can tell him, hey, you go run around next week, let's say, with A.J. Brown. We're going to let you shut down half of the field. And maybe we have to help St-Juste on Devontae Smith some weeks. But some weeks it's the Steelers say Sunday.
Yeah.
And you're going to cover George Pickens, and now we don't have to double on the other side because we're not as convinced in their wide receiver 2 situation. And now I can bring, instead of 2 high safeties, 1 down into the box. And Jeremy Chin can help us as an extra linebacker. And we can – this is a team with some light box numbers that are among the highest in the league this year because they've got to play 2 deep safeties and they've got to help their corners that aren't very good. Now they can play the run a little more because they've got a corner that doesn't need a whole lot of help to shut down a good wide receiver. I think that's the hidden potential secret sauce to this trade.
Graham Paulsen, 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C., is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Now the stretch, Steelers this week, at Philadelphia next week. I'm not saying that winning the division is paramount, But, man, it's a great opportunity with 4 games left with Philly and Dallas. Not that Dallas is going to challenge for the division, and Dallas not only is bad, but they're probably not going to have I don't think they're going to have Dak Prescott the rest of the year. So maybe that's a foregone conclusion at this point. But the opportunity against the Eagles, even up there, because I think Philly is a bit of a question mark, although they can run the ball well. Just what are your thoughts on this stretch?
Well, I think this is going to be the most telling 2 games that they've had all season, for sure. I love the Steelers matchup on Sunday. Even though I'm not convinced Pittsburgh's as good as their 6-2 record, I don't love their offense. It's very mediocre. And I don't think Russell Wilson is that good, although I will say he's played very well the last couple of weeks. So I don't know that they're necessarily going to be a championship-level team, but this is a championship-caliber defense, and that's what I want to see play against Washington's offense. The best defense they played so far this season was Chicago in their last home game, and they won that game on the Hail Mary that everybody saw. But prior to that Hail Mary, they had 12 points.
Yeah.
And they moved the ball up and down the field all day. I think it was maybe their most yards in the season this season, and it was the most yards the Bears gave up. So they actually did some good things in terms of 20-20, like making plays, moving the football, but they didn't score. They were bad in the red zone. They are one of the 7 or 8 worst teams in the red zone going into this past week in the NFL. Had a better week against the Giants. So that's something I want to see. You know, if they're going to go into the playoffs and win or make any kind of a run, it's going to be on the back of this really elite, stellar offense. And when they've played the better defenses, they have not necessarily finished drives. So the Steelers game, that's my storyline. That's what I'm excited about, just seeing how they handle Pittsburgh. The Eagles game, now we're talking about the division.
Yeah.
You win that game, you're in the driver's seat. You already have an edge on them going in, assuming you win this weekend. And as you said, you know, hosting a playoff game doesn't really happen around here. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2015. They have not won a home playoff game since January of 2000 against the Detroit Lions 24 years ago. In fact, you know, they've only had in this stadium, that was the only home win ever in their current nearly 30-year-old stadium as far as playoff wins. And I believe they've only had 3 or 4 playoff games total. I'd have to look that up. But I think it's right at 3 playoff games. So it would be a really cool thing for them to win the division, host a playoff game, rather than having to go on the road.
All right, final thing. And I went to school at the University of Maryland, so I was up there through the mid-late 80s, and I lived in the Baltimore, Washington area until the late 90s when I moved down here. It's been a long time since there's been fun for the fans. I mean, even when they were good, I think you alluded to it, it was always, especially with the most recent owner before this one, there was always a scandal somewhere or criticism that had to be dealt with. First time the fans in a long time have had fun with this football team. Can you sense that?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say negatively, if that's a thing, is there is a little bit of a realization or feeling, for me at least, having been here the entire time over these last 30 years, that whether it is the Snyder years and just the embarrassments and the controversies and the sagas and the statements and the legal wranglings, you know, one after another, maybe it's the name change as well. I think it's certainly a significant part of it. I do believe that the fan base is smaller than it once was, and they're going to have to win sustainably.
Yeah.
Not just 1 year, but for several years probably to bring that back. And I don't know if the fan base will ever be the same, you know, in terms of size as it once was, because there are people that are still upset or just don't like that they're not named the Redskins, or that don't like the current name. Maybe they were okay with the name change, but they thought they did a bad job on the rebrand. So that's part of it for sure. You're seeing some of that. But I think mostly, right, even if to use political parlance, like the tent is smaller, the party under the tent is pretty fun right now.
Yeah.
You know, the people that are left are going crazy, and they've been waiting so long. We get callers every day into my show in D.C. that are 25, 30, young 30s. I'm 35, by the way. I have a couple of kids. I've never seen this team be good, ever. They've had a couple of fleeting years, as I said, where they would win 5 in a row, 4 in a row, 7 in a row at the end of the year, make the playoffs, 2005, 2007, 2012. Even most recently in 15, they had to win 4 straight to get in at 9-7. That's kind of always been how it's been. They sneak in, and then they lose right away or maybe win a playoff game a couple times, but not since I was in high school. So we're in uncharted water for a lot of fans of this team. And even for the older fans, I think they just stopped believing that this was possible. So it's pretty incredible.
It's been fun. It's fun to watch. I keep reminding people this. Some of us have a ticket on Washington to win the division, and that would be fun. Grant Paulsen, 106.7 The Fan in D.C. Grant and Danny, I appreciate your time, sir. We'll talk again.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, Adam. Be good, man.
You got it. You too. Grant Paulsen here on the Adam Gold Show. When we come back, one-timers, and I don't know, maybe we'll have some football. We'll have Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard signed a contract. The Panthers made a good move. Wow. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. And it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
AARP reminds you that November is National Family Caregivers Month. While family caregivers should be celebrated every day, this is a time to recognize and honor those taking care of their loved ones by raising awareness around caregiving issues, educating communities, and working to increase support for our nation's caregivers. Learn about this topic and more by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there, it's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Your background may not include agriculture, but 2 years at the Agricultural Institute will prepare you for a career in it. Whether you are a military veteran with an arsenal of skills, kickstarting your second career, or about to graduate high school, the Agricultural Institute at NC State University is the right place for you. Nurture your passion and find your career. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff.
like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
Georgia needs Alabama to beat LSU right now. And Georgia fans are beside themselves thinking that they have to root for Alabama for anything. So, I mean, it's messy everywhere.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Eric Mac Lain of the ACC Network will join us in hour 3. EJ Hradek of NHL Network will join us next hour. Canes and the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Chance to see Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, future Hall of Famers. I mean, it's possible that Chris Letang could be a Hall of Famer. Erik Karlsson more than likely because of his offensive prowess on defense, although they both looked like shells of themselves when we saw them in Pittsburgh at the start of the last road trip. That was also one of the worst games I've seen Sidney Crosby ever play, and that could have been Carolina and not Pittsburgh, right? Induced. Wasn't just that Crosby played poorly. It might have been that Carolina was so good that it made Crosby look bad. Evgeny Malkin wasn't great either. I think Pittsburgh's a little bit banged up. My guess is we'll see. I haven't seen Pittsburgh's goalie, but could be Alex Nedeljkovic, who has played 6 of the last 8 games, I believe, for the Penguins since coming off the injured list. We'll get to that later. Right now, one time.
Okay, well, since my Panthers, our Carolina Panthers are trying to do smart things, I'm so excited for them. Does them signing Juba an extension show that they are at least trying to move in the right direction?
Well, I mean, it's a smart signing. I don't understand the criticism of it. Yes, you drafted Jonathan Brooks with the second pick, or your second pick in the second round. But the truth is that you need another running back anyway. And yeah, I guess you could keep Brooks, who you don't know is going to be good yet, and then go and draft another one and then be super cheap at running back. But it's also not that expensive. I haven't seen what the cap hit is going to be for the next 2 years, but it can't be that bad. It's under $10 million a year on average anyway, and my guess is the cap hit is probably significantly lower than that. So I think it's a good deal.
Okay, well, sticking with football, we do have Thursday night football tonight with the Ravens and the Bengals. The Ravens hold a 31-27 edge in their all-time series, including regular and postseason. So, how do you see this game going, looking at the Bengals' struggles so far this season?
Cincinnati has certainly not gotten the most out of it. But I would say the same thing about the Ravens. The fact that the Ravens have losses to the Browns and the Raiders, 2 of the worst teams in the league, those are own goals to me. Like when we look back on it, the fact that the Chiefs, who have not played well but are 8-0, and the Ravens, who have played well but are, I think, 6-3, either 6-2 or 6-3. I think 6-2. The fact that they're so drastically on opposite ends in terms of record, sort of, I guess, not really opposite. Baltimore, you want to host that championship game. You don't want to be on the road. I think Baltimore, it's as much of a must-win for them as it is for Cincinnati, but both teams desperately need it. This is actually a really good, worth your time football game.
Yes, this is actually going to be a good Thursday night football game.
I'll be watching hockey.
So what would you say a key for the Bengals, if there was one thing that they needed to do in this game to give them even a chance, what would you say that is?
I don't think you can afford to turn the ball over against Baltimore. Baltimore's going to try to keep the ball away from you. They're going to run Derrick Henry at you all day.
Yes.
So you just can't turn it over. I think the Bengals can be explosive and score with them, but they can't make mistakes.
All right, and last but not least, going to our Canes tonight. They are hosting the Penguins. So some people were worried that the Flyers game might have been a, quote, trap game. Should they be concerned that this could be round 2 of a potential trap game?
Yeah, especially with the road trip looming and you go into Colorado and then Vegas. Yeah, it's and Pittsburgh is dangerous because of the personnel that they've got. They got to play a better game than they played against Philadelphia.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Week 10 of the NFL is here, and oh my, what better way to start it than Cincinnati at Baltimore. Huge game for the Bengals. It feels like last chance saloon for them. And new customers to FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, can get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 wager. So find a nice threshold for Derrick Henry rushing yards, bet it, win it, and collect $150 in bonus bets. There's a lot of things you can do, and this is a huge game. FanDuel.com/AdamGold and make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Snap. Give it to Chuba. Chuba inside the 10. 5. Slides into the end zone. Touchdown Panthers. He spikes the ball, and Carolina's got a lead.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling. Quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
Ready for some football? Celebrate the season with award-winning wings and ice-cold pints at Carolina Ale House. With wall-to-wall TVs, Carolina Ale House is the go-to spot for every game. From Honey Buffalo to 5 Alarm to Carolina Barbecue, we've got wing sauces for all flavors. If you're feeling hungry, don't forget about our brisket French dip or Philly cheesesteak. Grab a front row seat, sip on your favorite beer, and watch your squad with us. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton, and people often ask me, what is the Good Feet store? A shoe store? I respond, we are an art support store. Haven't you spent enough time trying different shoes and all the disposable products that are supposed to make your feet feel better? Go to goodfeet.com to make your appointment today.
Upgrade your home with Baker Home Exteriors and take advantage of our financing options. We offer 0% interest for 12 months, same as cash financing. Our financing plans also cover siding and window replacements, making those big projects more manageable. Don't just imagine how your home could look. Use our interactive visualizer tool at bakerroofing.com to see your home's potential and get started on a worry-free home upgrade experience.
Looking for a new vehicle? Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford is one of the only dealerships where you can shop all 4 brands under one roof. Get unbeatable deals on new and pre-owned vehicles. Our expert service department keeps you on the road, and our full body shop handles any repairs. It's all here at Wilkinson, where quality and convenience come first. Drive with confidence. Drive with Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC on NC 87 South in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Dylan Sampson in the backfield. It is a give to Sampson. He is hit at the line, trying to spin through, now getting pushed by the offensive line, pushing toward the goal line. They still haven't blown the play dead yet, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown! A record breaker for Dylan Sampson. His 19th touchdown run, the most in a single season in Tennessee history.
The Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Lots to do coming up a little bit later on. EJ Hradek, NHL.com. We'll talk about the Canes, the electric Martin Natchez, but also we have football and we have the best and worst, top five, bottom five coming up. So right now, let's do the second look at the news of the day. All right, we'll start with the Panthers actually making a really good move.
What?
It is as surprising as anything. They signed Chuba Hubbard.
Love it.
4-year deal with a little less than $34 million. I
love Chuba.
What is this sorcery? You're the Panthers fan.
Yes.
You've enjoyed Chuba Hubbard.
I have.
If there was one criticism to allay to the head coach, it would be what?
Criticism other than let's stick with a quarterback and make your mind up earlier than what you've been doing. I don't know. I like this. I like this move. I like having two running backs.
Well, they need to run. We haven't seen Jonathan Brooks yet.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's going to turn out to be good. But we shall see. I think he will. I think there's potential with that. And when those two get together, I think they're going to excel even more. Chuba's going to bring the experience and the vet of it all. He's going to teach Brooks his ways, and maybe it'll be a J. Stu and Williams duo part 2.
That's right. That's sort of the Panthers' history anyway, to use a running back duo. Here's the thing about it. He's 5th in the league in rushing right now. He's averaging 5 yards per carry. He's got 5 touchdowns. He's starting to catch the ball well out of the backfield. He really is more of a between-the-tackles runner, right? He's also bigger than you think. He's 6'1", about 210. It's pretty good size for a running back. But I think he runs lower. He doesn't run too upright. There's a ton to love about what Chuba Hubbard has done. I would argue, in the previous regime, he might be the best draft pick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be an easy sell.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's not a lot of competition in terms of good draft picks.
Right.
Since the first-round picks haven't really worked out. Maybe we'll be saying J.C. Horn in time, but I am not a J.C. Horn stan. I think he is good. I don't think he is one of those. And you need, he's not a Marshawn Lattimore type who was just traded to Washington. But Hubbard has been so good for them this year. He earns this contract. I don't think it's not a contract that's going to get in your way. You got plenty of cap room coming up next year anyway. You're not using a ton of it to bring him back. And the truth is that if you were going to find a veteran, now you don't have to use a draft pick on a running back. Mm-hmm. You can use later round draft picks on more wide receivers or cornerbacks or offensive linemen or defensive linemen. So because they have so many things to do, the roster needs repair everywhere. Yes. It's like a fixer-up.
Yeah, if we're going to go back to the car analogy,
right.
It's definitely a fixer-upper.
Oh, yes, they have to replace the transmission and the brakes and everything.
All of it.
So
paint job.
At least you've got a solid and I think he's more than that, running back to pair with Jonathan Brooks. So I really like the deal. I like it for the fact that they rewarded one of their own.
Mm-hmm.
He's a draft pick.
Love that.
Right? But I also like it because I think it's a smart use of not a ton of money, and I think it helps you maintain at least that position. And again, if Brooks is good, then you've got 2 players on combined pretty low wages so you can address the other parts of your roster. The other thing that happened, and this happened yesterday, was that Dave Canales officially named Bryce Young the starting quarterback, at least for this week in Germany. where they'll play the Giants. A day earlier, so Bryce Young was named starting quarterback at like 2:45.
Yeah, it was our breaking news at the end of the day.
So, really, a day earlier, Canales didn't want to tell anybody who the starting quarterback was going to be because he was basically playing, well, let the Giants worry about two quarterbacks. Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm, right.
Like, there's no difference how you prepare for Bryce Young and how you prepare for Andy Dalton. We're wasting time.
That's very Matt Rule-ish, too, and I don't like it. I do not like this part of Dave Canales.
Yeah, sort of. You felt triggered, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
If he says we got to look at the tape.
Well, he does.
He does say that.
He does.
But, it triggers me.
So, I guess Dave Canales realized, well, you know what? I guess we got to start. We're gonna start Bryce. All right. What has Bryce shown to earn that? Well, third straight start.
Finding throws down the field, a lot of it's chemistry with the guys he's been working with, and finding completions, some really cool explosive plays that showed up in the game. Just our third down operation. I know we didn't have the best third down day that we wanted to, but I saw progress there just with the whole group, getting up and operating that way, and a lot of the other specific things, again, I won't go into those details. Those are private conversations in the QB room. So I'll keep it at that. But, just the steps forward, the progress, and then the finish, and that's what we look for. We're looking for that finish.
More of it. The way they finished the game was great. And honestly, Bryce was pretty solid throughout. He wasn't awesome. He was not, man, that's a Pro Bowl quarterback. No, we didn't have that. But he was good, and he made some good throws down the field. They've needed to just kind of loosen it up. And if you can't, this is the better way to say it. If you want a quarterback to have the best chance to succeed, you have to force the defense to honor the entire field. So you don't even have to complete the passes down the field. You have to be able to show the defense that you are willing to take those shots. Because once you do, they have to defend it. You have to run the ball. You got to throw it to all parts. You can't just throw everything horizontally, laterally, at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, because that's basically a run defense. So all sorts of screens, those aren't really pass plays. Those are extensions of your run game. You have to change the focus of a defense. If you're not going to throw the ball down the field, you're just not doing it. So I think they did a better job, not a great job, but a better job of giving Bryce more options in that regard. And I know there was a discussion middle of the game about, the plays. And I'm not going to get into it here, but I'm glad that, especially on that last drive, they allowed Bryce Young to throw the ball down the field. So Young was asked after the game about the confidence that maybe the entire offense gained based on what they did against the Saints.
Yeah, I think it was great for us as a unit, as a team, just to finish the way. Also, not downplaying the defense, coming up with a huge stop in a huge moment. Again, it was a 1-point game. They had time, and for the defense to come up big like that too. Again, full team win. So I think it was great for us just to be able to do it and play off of each other, play complementary, and both sides of the ball step up. And now again, it's just building off of it, making sure that we can harness it, continue to grow, continue to build off of it, and it was great while it lasted. And now it's just what can we do better?
All right, now in Germany, Bryce Young and company will face a Giants defense, which is good, but they certainly pressure the quarterback. Also, Brian Burns is there.
A great player, tremendous respect for him as a player. Obviously, know him personally. Obviously here and great dude, amazing guy. But out there, especially on the field, know the player he is. So for us, we know it's going to take our best. We know the challenge that it presents. So we have to do everything we can throughout the week to prepare. And we know that it's a really good defense we're going against.
Yes, it is. I mean, if there's anything the Giants do reasonably well, it's gonna get after you. So Bryce, who has been known to take a lot of sacks, stare at the rush, escape the pocket when he doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things, we're going to find out how much progress he's made with that part of his game on Sunday. And we'll see it Sunday morning in Munich. So good for, look, the Panthers, they're a work in progress at best. I still think they're one of the worst teams in the league. I don't think that's a surprise at all.
No, they're a hot mess.
But at least they showed signs of life against the Saints. And hopefully they can win or not. I just want to see the quarterback look competent. And real quick about Bryce. So, third straight start, fifth start of the season. And in my opinion, there are only two outcomes that arrive by starting Bryce, and they are both really good for the Panthers. Like, even if he stinks on Sunday, I still think that ultimately Bryce playing, because I think they'll open it up. I think they'll let him throw the ball down the field. Maybe they won't win. Giants aren't good. It'd be nice to see the Panthers defense play a good game against a bad Giants offense.
No, it just feels like a sloppy game. It has the potential of being such a gross game.
Germany is like, I thought we were allies.
I know. Why are you sending this here?
It's not really friendly of
weird.
this.
Yeah.
So, the first thing is Bryce Young could prove himself to be good enough to be the Panthers quarterback for the next 2 years. Beyond that, we'll see. But good enough to use, to start, to be the quarterback of the now. Even if you are looking for the quarterback of the future, the quarterback of the now would be fine. And the other thing is, even if he has just one more good game, I think they've already sort of established that, okay, there's something there. I don't know what. Maybe he's just a backup down the road. But I think they have repaired his trade value to the point where it's not what the Jets got for Zach Wilson. Maybe it's somewhere in between what the Jets got for Sam Darnold from Carolina and what the Jets got for Zach Wilson. So maybe it's right now a third. But if he plays well, so I think there's a baseline of very early day 3 pick for Bryce Young.
Yeah.
But that could be raised considerably if he plays well over the next couple of weeks. And again, the possibility that he just says that they decide, hey, he could be our quarterback for the next couple of years.
Right.
And if he'll either develop into a franchise quarterback or we'll find one.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you'd have 2 years to go about that business. All right, when we come back, the best and worst of the National Football League, and then EJ Hradek of NHL Network on the Canes and the East. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
The Panthers finally won a game, but let's not forget who did it. Leading the team in tackles, a rookie, Damani Richardson. Leading the team in receiving, Jatavian Sanders, a rookie. Leading the team second in receiving. Another rookie, Jalen Coker, Xavier Leggett, another rookie, third. You have to let the young guys take over if you want to have success in Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
There is a huge division rivalry tonight in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals heading to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. And even with this season where the Bengals definitely seem to be struggling, this game could produce a lot of betting options. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here for BetMGM, and if you're interested in making wagers on tonight's football game, you could go with routes like Lamar Jackson being an anytime touchdown scorer. Maybe you could see Derrick Henry rushing for 10 yards each quarter, or maybe the Bengals will actually come away with an upset upset win as an underdog on the road. Whatever your sport of choice is, when you use the BetMGM app, you'll have options like betting the money line, prop bets, live bets, same-game parlays, and BetMGM also likes to throw out these fun daily promotions to spice things up. All brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and please gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
'Tis the season for family and friends. 'Tis the season for gifting. And 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction 'tis. And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's Enhanced Network. Learn more at USPS.com/holiday ride.
This is Adam Gold.
We don't need Al Roker in a suit doing yoga.
No.
And Al, to his credit, recognized that and said, you know what? I am not getting into Warrior 2.
I'm stopping at Downward Dog.
There will be no, he didn't get to that. Heck no.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, playing the best of the 70s. That's Victoria's job today.
I'm trying.
There's
a lot of good choices. There's lots of good choices.
Yeah, there's good music in the 70s.
Yeah.
We getting any Zeppelin today, or are we just playing the best pop hits?
Absolutely. No. We've got Zeppelin on the line.
Right.
Get it, Toto, on the line.
Oh, very nice. Also, anything from... I've been in a Billy Joel...
see, I looked at a Billy Joel song, so yes, we'll have to do some Joel.
All right.
And I'll take special requests.
Look at this.
I'm open to it.
You can always chime in on the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything's kind of figured itself out. I'm watching us on screen now. So youtube.com/Adam Gold Show /999 The Fan. Either one will get you to us. Subscribe to it, like it, share, tell your friends. Comment, do whatever you like. We're right here for you. All right. EJ Hradek in about 10 minutes. We'll talk about the Canes and the Penguins tonight. But right now, it's time for the best and the worst of the National Football League. Top 5, bottom 5. Roll them. And always, I ask Victoria, where should we start?
We should just get the bad out of the way,
Okay.
and then now we can end on a good note.
All fair. I'm going to start all the way at the bottom. Okay? I'm going to start at number 32. The Las Vegas Raiders. They are number 32.
Yeah.
They are really bad. I'm not even sure who's going to be their quarterback. I'm not sure it matters. All of their quarterbacks are very, very, very mediocre. I think Gardner Minshew might be hurt, but if I were Gardner Minshew, I would pretend to be hurt.
And their OC was fired, so who knows what
Right.
the offense is going to look like.
Luke Getsy. Here's what's funny is that also Dennis Allen was fired, the coach of the Saints. So, and Derek Carr was credited with having fired Dennis Allen twice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because Dennis Allen was at one point the head coach of the Raiders, and Carr was there, and they fired Dennis Allen, except while it's a good joke.
Right.
And I'm not going to be the joke killer, so because I wasn't the one who pointed this out. When Dennis Allen was fired, Derek Carr was actually good.
Yes.
With the Raiders. So it wouldn't be a problem with Derek Carr while he was a problem with the defense.
And I've heard that joke for the Panthers, too. One of my friends in our Panther group chat sent me a thing that Brian Daboll should really be concerned because every time the Panthers beat a team, someone gets chopped.
Yeah,
so
I
they're
think
like the Grim Reaper of the NFL right
is.
now.
It's bad. I sort of think that Brian Daboll is safe
Yeah.
with the Giants. I actually think Daboll has the potential to be a good head coach. So I hope he is safe. Real quick about that, and I realize we haven't mentioned one NFL team here yet. Florida is keeping Billy Napier as head coach. We all assumed he was getting fired because this is what happens in college football. Program like Florida doesn't win for 3 straight years, or maybe it's 4, I don't know, and they fire the coach. But maybe what you need to do is lean into the guy that you hired.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's the case all the time. So, and I don't follow the program really closely, but it's hard to go from, man, this guy's great to, we got to fire him now in such a short period of time. So they're going to keep Napier around, and I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but stability is, I think, always good unless the stability is bad. Unless it's a Matt Rule-like stability.
Oh, yikes.
All right, number 32. I actually mentioned Las Vegas, 2-7 on the year, minus 83 point differential. They're no good. Number 31, the New Orleans Saints. I think if you lose to the Panthers, and what do those two teams have in common?
Well, they both stink.
And they both lost to the Panthers. Yeah. So New Orleans 2-7, albeit minus 22 point differential. Of course, they won by almost 50 points in each of the first 2 weeks.
Right.
So that'll help you build a relatively good point differential for a 2-7 team. Number 30, the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. So Mason Rudolph has, I guess, taken over as starting quarterback from Will Levis. Will Levis is so bad and has authored some of the dumbest plays we have seen in the NFL this year.
Great meme maker.
Yes, he is.
Twitter loves him for that.
So, CJ Stroud, obviously very good.
Yes.
Bryce Young, I'm going to say jury is still out.
Yeah.
Right? The jury has not come back yet on Bryce Young. Anthony Richardson,
Oof.
yeah, maybe same thing as Bryce.
Yeah.
But I would say that most of the evidence in both cases points to a not good verdict.
Yes.
Will Levis?
Just bad.
I'm not sure the jury is back already and has declared unanimously that he ain't good.
Yeah, it's bad.
So, yeah, he does not look good. Number 29, the New York Giants. The Panthers' opponent. Again, defensively, not bad. Offensively, bad.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors, though, could be a superstar, but Daniel Jones is throwing to him. And number 28, the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
All right, look, if Dak Prescott were healthy, if the hamstring had not completely detached from his hip.
Right? Yikes.
That just sounds bad.
Sounds nasty.
I mean, it's bad, but it sounds worse when you hear that the hamstring tendon ripped off the hip bone.
Off the bone, yes. Yikes.
It hurts. Hurts to even think about. The Cowboys were already trending towards poopy.
Disaster.
And now it just got worse. So, and I do think it's funny that they're not using Trey Lance as their quarterback.
Right? What are we doing?
But
Cooper does have a winning record when he is in there, so I guess they just want to see it again. I don't know.
If Dallas wants to go beat Philadelphia and help my Washington Commandos,
right,
then that would be fine. But that's not going to happen. Dallas at number 28 on the season. All right, but if you ask Jerry Jones, still very positive about things, Micah Parsons, Dallas's do everything defensive player, on his loud owner.
I think it's a good thing, because honestly, a lot of owners don't care. Jerry cares about how comfortable we are, how he cares about this facility, and you always walk in the building, they always say it's a privilege, not a right, to wear the star. And I think when you got an owner like that actually cares and actually, wants to be involved in this process instead of just like, this is a moneymaker, this is about money to me, his heart's in it. And when someone's heart's in it, and think about family, even when, family always don't do the right things or make the right decisions, and build, like, you still love them because they care. They actually care about the significance about what they're doing.
All right, let's address a few things there. First of all, I actually think all owners care.
Yeah. It's an investment.
Right. David Tepper cares. He just doesn't know how to do the right thing. So, yeah, I think all owners care about winning. The second part of that is, if you notice, Micah Parsons said nothing about football. Facilities, the building. Like, yeah. He's the GM. He wants to win because he wants to show everybody that he can do this. He can't do this. All right, moving on. Thank you, Micah Parsons, for doing the best you can to put lipstick on that.
Yes.
All right, number 5, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 6-2 on the year. Russell Wilson has been okay. It has given their offense a dimension they did not have with Justin Fields. And it has opened up more of the run game for Warren and Harris. Maybe more so Harris than Warren, for basically. But and with the addition of Mike Williams, now they have a good tight end. They have a good second wide receiver as long as he stays healthy. And they've got Pickens, who is one of, truly one of the best young talents at that position. So they're starting to get better. As long as their offense can hold up and be good, it doesn't have to be great. Let the defense do the heavy lifting. The defense is going to get you turnovers. It's going to get you field position. Let it happen. Number 5. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens. It is curious to me that a team as good as them could have 2 of the strangest losses on the season. Cleveland is better probably than their record, but that win was just their second on the season. So the Ravens, who are 6-3, have losses to 2 2-win teams. It's strange.
It's very weird. The NFL's weird.
It is weird. But they still have Lamar Jackson. They still have Derrick Henry. And now they have added to their wide receiver room with Deontay Johnson. I don't know if that helps or not. But we'll have to see. But they are the number 4 team. And they host Cincinnati tonight to start Week 10. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills, 7-2 on the season, plus 87 point differential. I actually think that when Miami's got Tua, their offense is legit. Buffalo had to win that game late, 60-something yard field goal attempt.
Yeah, it was definitely last minute.
So 61-yarder, a field goal to win it at the buzzer. So, but Buffalo, even without Still, a lot of weapons around Josh Allen. Now, Amani Cooper will be better. Their offense will get better. Coleman will be better as a result of having Cooper around. The tight ends are good. The running game is better. It's still all about Josh Allen. He is one of the – he's just elite. It's just ridiculous
really
how good he is. So I like Buffalo a lot, but they're the number 3 team. Detroit is number 2.
Love them. Dan Campbell, really. I love him.
I think there's a pretty big gap between the Lions and the second best team in the NFC.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if and when San Francisco gets healthy, even though right now the 49ers are not a playoff team, and believe it or not, at 4-4, they're a half game out of the division. Somebody's going to win that division with 9 wins.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of it. I think the 49ers are probably the second best team in the NFC when healthy.
And they're playing the Bucs this weekend.
Right. But they're not healthy.
No.
So until they get healthy, it's really, really difficult to consider San Francisco for anything. But Detroit is right now on one. They are amazing on both sides of the ball. Adding the former Packers pass rusher, Zadarius Smith, from in a trade with Cleveland was tremendous. Yeah, I think they're really good. And number 1, they're 8-0. They look bad, but they're 8-0. They look bad. Patrick Mahomes is average, but somehow they always win. They've played a difficult schedule. You watch them and you go, this team doesn't seem that good. And then at the end of every game, they win.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how else you judge.
I don't get them, but they're a force.
Yeah, and they're 8-0. So best team in the league. You ready to talk a little hockey?
Let's do it.
Hurricanes are wrapping up a 4-game homestand tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Carolina's won 7 in a row. Martin Necas has scored in all 7. He's got multi-point games in the last 4. He's got 7 multi-point games in 11 already this season. It is insane. EJ Hradek, NHL Network, is joining us here. Also, first shift. This is all very cool. You're a busy man. Thank you very much for giving us a few minutes. Necas is the shiny object, but on Tuesday night, as good as he's been, I think it was the first time we saw something from him that we had never seen before. To be honest, in that he went into superstar mode, where you don't see a lot. As good as Sebastian Aho is, and he's their best player. He's not, I don't know that he's capable of doing what Necas did Tuesday night, which was physically drag Carolina across the finish line.
Yeah, it's funny. As you say that, and you make that description, I kind of immediately thought about Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes. Because Nico Hischier is a more complete player than Jack, but Jack is someone who is an electric type player, right? He can bring you out of your seats, and he can do so much offensively. And I think it's a similar situation. I mean, Sebastian Aho is a great player, and he's a great 200-foot player as well as being a really good offensive player. But Martin Necas is someone for the last couple of years. I've seen flashes of it. And, so far this year, we're seeing a really more consistent flash of it from him. But he's a dynamic player. As I told you before we went on the spot here, some of friends of mine who play hockey, and they brought him up. They were like, "Who is that guy in Carolina?" And I had to fill him in. So, yeah, I mean, maybe this is the year that he is going to just really take his game to another level. But he certainly has all the ability and all the talent. And there's a short list for me of guys where I'd say, listen, I'd pay full admission to see this guy play, and he's on it. I mean, he is just that good and that electric of a player. So it's been a great start, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I mean, he's doing the things that I would say, I've always thought he could do more consistently because he has the ability.
Oh, there's no question. There aren't there aren't 5 guys in the league that skate better than him. I mean, we know the McDavids and the McKinnons are in that, in that otherworldly class, but Necas with the puck on his stick is absolutely, he drags your eyes to him. And that's what I saw in the last 2 shifts. They were each nearly a minute and a half. At 4-on-4, he was on the ice for 124, and he created 3 or 4 really good chances. And then the shift, which led to the game-winning goal, he was on the ice for 127. And I don't know how many opportunities he either had or created for others, and then ultimately puts in a rebound. He's also going to the middle of the ice a lot more now than he used to. He's being more direct, which is what Rod Brindamore has wanted. And I talked to Jordan Martinick about him as well. And that's what everybody says. He's just being more direct. We're seeing less unnecessary fanciness from Marty. We're seeing more direct play, simple play. If it's not there, dump the puck in and live to fight another day is what Rod tells me all the time. But yeah, he's been tremendous. But I mean, he was gassed after that goal. He was doubled over in pain on the bench.
A $127 and a $124, $127. Those are long shifts.
Yeah,
and, but at the end of the day, you talk about those high end players. I mean, like a Nate McKinnon. I mean, he's just, I think of those guys, I would say he's probably similar to him. Now, I don't think he has quite the power that McKinnon has, but he certainly has the explosiveness that McKinnon has. And, McKinnon has that drive, that ultra competitive flair on the ice. And I think maybe you're seeing Marty Necas bring a little of that to the table now, and that would be a nice addition for, a Carolina team. They could use anyone could use a player like that can drive you to that extent in big moments.
EJ Hradek, NHL Network, First Shift. Also, check it out. Watch it on YouTube. You and Kevin Weeks. Obviously he's a favorite of ours because we all have all this history.
He's a former Cane. Yeah. There you go. And so it's mostly kids. A lot of times it's Kevin. We bounce around. We got Corey Schneider today, and Kevin will be back tomorrow, and I think we have Bruce Boudreau next week.
Oh, nice.
So, I'm usually the consistent. I am the consistent host, and then we have a lot of different guys come in. It's a lot of fun. It's an hour show. There's 4 to 5 Eastern on Monday through Friday, and as you said, you can get it in kind of podcast form on YouTube afterwards. So what do they say? Subscribe,
share, rate, review.
We like that. Yeah, all that stuff.
I have consumed it in podcast form. EJ Hradek is joining. I want to make everybody aware. I am not calling him a superstar. Who knows what happens as this year goes on. 20 points in 11 games is certainly eye-opening, but what I saw Tuesday night was the thing that superstar players do. So we'll see how he grows into it. Is there another?
He has the ability. To do that. There's no question in my mind. I've seen it for several years now, and I still go back to that game, the outdoor game against the Caps a couple of years ago. It was such a wonderful night. I mean, the place was packed there, and it was a great night to celebrate hockey in Carolina. And he was just. I mean, I was calling that game with Bill Lindsay that night for the NHL International broadcast, and I mean, he was just bigger than life in that game, and he has the ability to do that. So I'm really glad to see that he's gotten off to such a good start.
All right, give me another surprise from your perspective on this Hurricanes team so far.
Well, I guess Jackson Blake has come in and played pretty well as a young player. I mean, so that's when young players come in and you don't know how it's going to go, and he's got, I guess it's 3-4 goals right now, and kind of finding his way. And you need that to happen to you as you're changing over your roster a little bit. You had guys leave, new guys had to fill in, and we had Eric Tulsky on First Shift the other day, and he credited the scouts with the idea of filling those spots, right? He talked about that we're looking for like most teams, but we're looking for a match. We're looking for somebody not only that fits with us, but we fit with them. And so I think a lot of those guys have come in and done well. And then you got young Jackson Blake, who's a draft pick who comes out of University of North Dakota, and it's nice when those guys can come in and contribute. So we'll see if he can continue that. Obviously, it's, Matvei Michkov, who's the big star for the Flyers. He's a healthy scratch tonight. So, these guys go through ups and downs. Michkov's a little younger than Blake, but, it's good to see Jackson Blake come in and play well.
Oh, he's played very well, and he's a guy who operates around the net too. And I know what they list him at, 5'10", $175. Ha! Good.
Not really.
No,
Not really.
no. Seth Jarvis is listed at like 5'10", $185, and those are not they are not identical bodies at all. EJ Hradek from NHL Network, First Shift. Subscribe to it on YouTube, but watch it, of course, at NHL Network. Do you have a concern about the Carolina Hurricanes through 11 games?
Well, the concern for me is always, is the goaltending going to hold up? Because, Freddie Anderson was really good, but he's injured.
Yep.
Right? So he's out of the mix. And now it's really heavy on Peter Kochetkov, who I like. I think at some point he's going to be the guy that's going to have to take that net and be the guy in the big moments. And, we'll see where he's at. He's sub-900 save percentage right now, but a lot of guys are sub-900 save percentage right now in the league. It's been a tough start in that regard, but he's getting wins, and that's all that matters. The team is backing him up with wins, and he's making the saves that you have to make to get those wins. So that's the good news. But if you ask me about a concern, we've had these conversations for the last several years. My concern in Carolina is always is the goaltending going to hold up. So we'll see.
All right, let me ask you a couple of other things before we let EJ Hradek go. Biggest surprise to you in the Eastern Conference? Other than Carolina, of course. Just kidding. But
I would say the Capitals. I circled them as a team to watch this year. I liked the moves they made in the offseason because they took some chances. You go out and you get Pierre-Luc Dubois, and he has not been blowing anybody away so far. But that was a big risk or a risk of sorts because he has a significant contract that didn't work out really for him in LA last year. To acquire that guy, you have to take on the rest of that contract and. He's still a young guy. He's a big centerman. Yeah. When players are playing well, they're not available. When a good player like Pierre-Luc Dubois is playing well, he's not going to be available by a trade. So they took a chance there, and they brought him in. They got Jacob Chikrin, who I always liked, another guy that from time to time has injury issues, and that's a worry. But, I thought that was another risk worth taking. They brought in Logan Thompson from the Vegas Golden Knights. So they've made some additions to their team. They're still obviously have, Alex Ovechkin and John Carlson as the stalwarts of that group, the older players there. They've sprinkled in some new players. I like Spencer Carberry, and has done a nice job in his year plus behind the bench. So I've been impressed. And Dylan Strome, there's another guy. He was a high draft pick in Arizona. He went to Chicago. Even Chicago wasn't quite working out. He comes to Washington, and they took a little bit of a chance on him, and he's been a really good player for them. So I think for me, I would say Washington is the other, one of the other surprises really in the East.
Yeah, that was a fun game we saw Sunday afternoon here. All right, final thing: biggest disappointment for you in the Eastern Conference?
In the East, oh boy, maybe just the fact that Buffalo and Ottawa just continue to flail around. And
right.
Don't really, now it's early. There's 13 games into the season, but I got to see Buffalo over in Prague to start the season against the Devils. I was over there calling the games. And you just look at these teams, and both of them have really talented players on their roster. You'd look at their, look on paper, and both of those teams have rosters that are as good as many of the good teams in the league, if not better in some cases. You could do that exercise and go through and compare rosters. They would stack up against some of the best rosters in the league, but yet they've been in this, Buffalo for 13 years now. Just going around in circles and having all kinds of good players go through there, and then they trade them. And it's mind-boggling to me, Adam, that Sam Reinhart, ever was traded. Now, obviously, circumstances are different, right? And he's not the player now that he was then, and he didn't have the support that he had. But, he was there with Jack Eichel, another guy that's gone on. Both guys gone on to go out and win Stanley Cups and be really important players. But But Sam Reinhart scored 57 goals last year.
Yeah.
He had 5 shorthanded goals last year. He already has 3 shorthanded goals this year. He's among the league leaders in both goals and points this year. It's kind of a mind-boggling that, like, these players, it doesn't work in Buffalo and they leave and they go elsewhere and they become very successful. But still, when you look at their roster, they got some talented players and a lot of talented players. And the same with Ottawa. So, when you ask me about disappointment in the East, I would say it's still a little bit of head scratching that those teams can't be more consistent and haven't started to make a push up the standings. We'll see. It's early. Maybe in these next, 10 games, 20 games, they'll really start to emerge. But I haven't seen anything that's telling me that that's going to happen. It looks like the same old for both. One good game, one bad game.
EJ Hradek at EJ Hradek _NHL. First Shift, NHL Network, also on YouTube in podcast form. I appreciate your time, sir. We will talk very soon, and have a good one.
All right, you too, Adam. Always a pleasure.
Love catching up with EJ. It's a good show, by the way. I caught a couple of episodes with Kevin Weeks. It's always fun. We have that little connection with Kevin Weeks. All right, when we come back, we're going to stretch. We will place bets. I think yesterday was a complete washout on my card, but I promise to do better this time. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Oh, the NBA is back, and FanDuel is America's #1 sports book for a reason, because they want you to catch all the action. And right now, FanDuel giving everyone 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you got to do to catch every tip-off, every buzzer beater, every dunk is place any $5 wager on the NBA and get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel and me. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
AARP reminds you that November is National Family Caregivers Month. While family caregivers should be celebrated every day, this is a time to recognize and honor those taking care of their loved ones by raising awareness around caregiving issues, educating communities, and working to increase support for our nation's caregivers. Learn about this topic and more by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there, it's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Are you looking for a 2-year hands-on agricultural degree while still gaining the university experience? I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University. We offer 6 associate's degrees that span the agricultural industry and set our students up to meet their goals. Come live on campus, learn on our farms, and be a part of the NC State community. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
This is Adam Gold.
Yeah, but he's real patient, like he said in his interview today.
In all other aspects of life.
Yes.
If he's in line at the drive-thru and it's taking a long time, he will not ram the car in front of him.
Exactly. Someone's pressing his shirt. He will wait 30 seconds for it to be crisper.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. We're going to place bets in a moment. Also, we have Lee Sterling today. It's Thursday, so we'll get to him in about an hour. But right now, it's time to stretch.
So, I saw this and had to talk about it because it's so fitting. I feel called out. So, states that are most obsessed with true crime stuff. North Carolina's in the top 10.
All right. Are you into true crime?
Oh, yeah. Call me 85. I love Dateline.
Okay. I don't really watch that. I mean, look.
Or 48 Hours or
If I can't sleep,
yes.
Those Dateline shows are on. Those are awful, by the way.
That is what I fall asleep watching.
Yeah.
And
they're always
helps
on
me.
at 2 in the morning.
It is always on at 2 in the morning. And, sometimes it causes some weird dreams. But the number 1 state is actually Massachusetts.
Really? For true crime? Very nice.
Yeah. They learned this by seeing how often people Googled things. And this could include celebrity true crime, serial killers, unsolved mysteries and disappearances, which North Carolina also ranked high in that one.
I'm sure.
So, yeah, if you are a lover of that stuff, then you have been seen, like me,
Very nice.
because we are in that category. Now, one thing I will not be seen with is I have plenty of, dog things, but Louis Vuitton is making a $60,000 doghouse.
What?
And this is for real. So,
well, mortgage rates are coming down. So
I know. The whole thing is covered in the tan and brown Louis Vuitton pattern.
Of course it is.
That they use on their purses. And they're saying it's technically a kennel, so keep it indoors because if you leave it outside, the rain will ruin the cowhide leather trim. Woo! And monogram-coated canvas. So there's that. They say it also comes with a gold tone hardware.
Nice.
Removable door and hidden hatch on the bottom for easy cleaning in case your dog wants to escape and watch true crime. Yeah, so there you go. If you want to spend $60,000 on a doghouse, you could do that. But maybe you could make $60,000 with our amazing bets.
Yes.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100. Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slice. Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, you knock it out.
I went 2 for 3. I know you say I love Zach Hyman, which I do, but he did score a goal yesterday, and the Caps won yesterday against the Preds, and they were under 6.5. So, again, not real units, but hey, maybe somebody else did.
Give it a shot.
Tonight, not all football, 2 football. Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to be an anytime touchdown scorer because it worked for me last time it was Baltimore. So, give me him plus 170.
All right. Rangers host the Sabres tonight. God, I wish Buffalo was better. I really do. Rangers minus a goal and a half, under 6.5, plus 315.
Nice. Okay, so I think this is going to be an ugly, close game, but I do think the Ravens are going to pull out a win against the Bengals. So give me the Ravens to win. They're huge favorites. However, the line is set at 52.5. Okay, so I'm taking the under. That's plus 150.
Ooh, okay.
I know, it could be high scoring, but I don't trust the Bengals to score a lot.
All right, I'm staying away from the football game, but if I was going to do anything, I might take just a little flyer on the Bengals to win it outright.
Yeah.
Plus 230 on the money line.
Good numbers.
All right, another hockey game for you. Anaheim hosting, it's like a good team. Vegas, I think. I have to go and look at it now. I like the Ducks to win at home. They're plus money at home. Under 6.5 plus 300.
All right, and our Canes are at home again against the Penguins. I hope this isn't a trap game, so I'm putting it out there. Canes to win, and hopefully under 6.5. We'll see. I don't want it to be sketchy, so that combined is plus 160.
All right, now, Sidney Crosby has scored in, by the way, they're hosting Minnesota. The Ducks are hosting Minnesota tonight. That's what I like. Sidney Crosby has scored 5 of the Penguins' last 8 goals in the last 3 games. Crosby will score tonight, plus 210, anytime goal scorer. Give me a flyer on Jalen Chatfield at plus 900 to get his first goal of the season. I am feeling a Jalen Chatfield moment tonight. So, but, Hurricanes will win the game. We hope. Let's go for 8 in a row. Come on.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Week 10 is here. Cincinnati is in Baltimore, and doesn't it feel like this is the last gasp for the Bengals? They might be extra motivated, but the Ravens are legit, and the Ravens have our old friend Deontay Johnson at wide receiver. Adam Gold for FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and this is your chance to start Week 10 off on the right foot. And new customers, incentive for you. Make your first $5 wager, win it, collect $150 in bonus bets when you win. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold to make every moment more this season with FanDuel. That's right. FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook, and they're an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez heads up. Back to Orlov. He scores! A 1-2 punch from Dmitry Orlov. It's 3-2 on Orlov, second of the game.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Now back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
'Tis the season for family and friends. 'Tis the season for gifting. And 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction 'tis. And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
The Ram Black Friday sales event is going on now, with great deals on a wide selection of powerful and dependable Ram trucks. Now finance and get $7,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Go to ram.com and hurry to your local Ram dealer for this Black Friday offer. $7,500 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. Financing for well-qualified buyers through Stellantis Financial. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 12/2/24.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm looking at a schedule that says Cardinals, Colts, Seahawks, Dolphins. These are not cakewalk by no stretch of the imagination, but they are favorable wins. And that's what I look at when I'm looking at the Jets. When I see the Jets play, there's times where, oh my God, he's back. And then there's times where it's like, what are we really doing? In the great words of Bill Belichick, he would always say, you can't win, RC, until you stop from losing. There's not nothing special that the opposing teams have done against the New York Jets. It's that they have not won games more than they've lost them.
I know that sounds to a lot of people as though, duh. But one of the things that Bill Belichick has said, and if you are like a real serious fan, I think when you think about it, it's true. More games are lost than won. And the teams that don't make mistakes that give games away, generally, they win a lot. Now, you might have much better players, and I'll use this as an example. The Hurricanes and the Flyers on Tuesday night. Canes are a better team than the Flyers. Carolina tried to lose that game. Obviously not intentionally, but they made so many mistakes in the game with the puck that allowed Philly, without really doing much on their own, to have scoring chances. Philadelphia had 16 shots on goal and 4 goals. Think about that. And Carolina allowed a lot of scoring chances in the first period, then almost nothing. They allowed 6 total shots on goal over the last 2 periods. And Philadelphia scored 3 times. Carolina was just making ugly mistakes all over the place, including in their own end. So they were trying to lose the game, except what separated those two teams was that Martin Necas just would not allow Philadelphia to even get into overtime. When he scored with 30 seconds left, I think it was maybe just over. I think, actually, the clock said just under, but I think they adjusted it to be just over. It was 30-point-something seconds left. When he did that, it's okay. That was one of those moments that great players can produce. But Carolina was trying to mess it up. They just have the ability to have certain players who can drag you to a win. Now, for the most part, yeah, NFL teams have that. But if you don't screw it up, you will accidentally win half your games if you simply don't make mistakes. And that's what that was about. And I think that's true for all sports. Make fewer mistakes, and then you end up you'll get some breaks here and there. The other team will give you the puck or ball or whatever it is. They'll help you out. Why did the Yankees lose Game 5 of the World Series?
And left so many bases loaded.
Well, in that game, that wasn't their problem. Their problem was with a 5-0 lead, they gave the Dodgers 6 outs in the 5th inning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here, you
take it.
Keep going. It was an absolute mess by the Yankees in that inning. And actually, that was kind of their MO for most of the year. All right, are we ready for a wall of sound?
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, let's start with the Carolina Panthers and Dave Canales. This is from yesterday. Dave Canales has gone back and forth. He's like, this is my quarterback. Is it Andy Dalton or is it Bryce Young? Well, right now it's Bryce Young. Here's Dave Canales on his quarterback go-round.
I mean, it has effect on the whole team for sure. You know, you'd like to have that consistency and all that. But, you know, we're in a situation where, you know, I made a move early in the year, you know, to put Andy in. And then kind of we had 5 games to collect some information. And then this situation put us to where we have a chance to evaluate, you know, Bryce and where he's at. So, you know, I know the challenges that it does face. So to be fair to your question, yes, it does present some challenges. But again, you know, like a bunch of our positions on our team this year, you know, I look at the opportunities and I look at the experience and all those things that we talk about. So these are valuable games for us.
The truth of the matter is that Dalton started because Bryce looked terrible in week 2. And then he was going to stay with Andy until the car accident. And now he's back to Bryce. And Bryce played well, very well, in the last game against New Orleans. And Canales was asked what he has seen from Bryce.
Finding throws down the field, you know, a lot of it's chemistry with the guys he's been working with, you know, and finding completions, you know, some really cool explosive plays that showed up in the game. You know, just our third down operation. I know we didn't have the best third down day that we wanted to, but I saw progress there just with the whole group, you know, getting up and operating that way, you know, and a lot of the other specific things, again, I won't go into those details. Those are private conversations in the QB room. So I'll keep it at that. But, you know, just the steps forward, the progress, and then the finish, you know, and that's what we look for. We're looking for that finish.
Secrets. They keep secrets from everybody.
A lot of private conversations.
In the quarterback room. All right, now to one of those people keeping secrets in the quarterback room, Bryce Young. Are you allowed to talk about playing against Brian Burns?
A great player, you know, tremendous respect for him as a player. Obviously, you know him personally, you know, obviously here and great dude, amazing guy. But out there, especially on the field, you know the player he is. So, you know, for us, you know, we know it's going to take our best. We know the challenge that, you know, it presents. So, you know, we have to do everything we can throughout the week to prepare. And, you know, we know that it's a really good defense we're going against.
The Giants are really good at getting after the quarterback. Big challenge for Bryce Young this week because he has been very susceptible to a pass rush. He stares at it. Even when it's not there, he imagines it. So we're going to see growth. We have to see growth out of Bryce this week when it comes to dealing with a heavy pass rush. He did make some good throws under duress against the Saints, but the Saints are bad. Giants are bad too. And I thought we were friends with Germany. And we're sending them this.
I know.
We're sending them Panthers-Giants.
Terrible brunch TV.
Yes. We're not, I think the German football fan is saying right now, they're not sending their best.
No. Bring in the beer.
All right, Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. Remember yesterday, Dan Orlovsky was like, why are the Cowboys bringing players in they should be selling? Like, I think you're overreacting to Jonathan Mingo. Like, that was not a move made to bolster the Cowboys this year. But Micah Parsons, like everybody else, took it as such. Why is Jerry Jones not selling at the deadline?
You know, I talked to Jerry. He came down and, you know, he watched me work out last week, and he was just like, I've been here before, you know. Starbeck called me. He was like, we was 3-5 and we still made a run. So that gives Jerry his old school beliefs. And, you know, when your owner believes in it and he truly believes these are the right guys, you know, that gives confidence into the guys in the locker room. It should, because, you know, your owner believes in you. Even though you haven't had the most success and things aren't going your way, he still believes that, you know, you can still do great things. And honestly, you should. This is, we've been a winning team, a 12-5 team the last 3 years. And, you know, we obviously got more losses at this point than we ever had. But, you know, the high hopes and the players are still here. We just got to stop beating ourselves, and that's the penalties and things like that.
Yeah, you're not good. Also, your quarterback's hurt. Cooper Rush. I mean, maybe they win with Cooper Rush. I don't know. I don't think it happens against the Eagles this week. The Eagles need a win too. But if Dallas wants to mix in a win against the Eagles, if Washington can beat Pittsburgh, I'm okay with it. All right, Mel Kiper Jr. from ESPN. I saw our friend Ryan Wilson from CBS Sports ranked his top 5 quarterbacks for the draft. He says there's only 2 quarterbacks worth taking in the first round, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, and we'll focus on Mel's thoughts on Shedeur Sanders and the Raiders, who will likely pick very early in the draft, being a fit.
I thought it would be Las Vegas. Shedeur, I love Shedeur, and I would want him to be my quarterback. I think Las Vegas, Brady and him have that thing going. He's kind of has that Brady feel where he's pocket, he's precise. He'll check down, he'll do those things. He'll matriculate the ball down the field like Brady always said. That's what you have to do. Shedeur understands that, gets that. Las Vegas would be picking 6 right now if the draft were held today. I think Las Vegas in that division, knowing they have to deal with Mahomes and Bo Nix now, and you got Herbert, and you got the AFC loaded with great quarterbacks, Shedeur would make most sense.
Okay. Matriculate the ball down the field. They paying homage to Hank Stram, the old Chiefs coach. Cam Ward looks to be the best quarterback in the draft. But Shedeur Sanders will get a lot of love, and maybe they'll both go in the first round. But if I was going to wager, I would say that there will probably be 4 quarterbacks that go in the first round because teams overrate quarterbacks as a rule. With all of that said, are the Raiders ready to just plug a maybe rookie quarterback into that team? That is a tough one. That is an absolute tough one. If I were the Panthers, I would definitely not draft a quarterback this year. Well, I wouldn't draft him in the first round. If you see a quarterback like in the 5th round, yeah, go right ahead. All right, when we come back, Eric Mac Lain, ACC Network, on where the ACC sits right now. Could they get a second team in? Who would that likely be? The former Clemson Tiger will tell us next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
Adam Gold here for my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group at Apex. Coach? Is he really a coach? Well, in a way he is. He tailor-makes a game plan for your retirement based on your needs, based on your financial strengths and weaknesses. Like any good coach, tailor-makes a game plan for his team and the opponent that they are facing. What is inflation doing? Coach Pete's got a plan for everything. Are you in the financial red zone? I don't even know what that is. But Coach Pete does, because he's a coach. He's a financial coach, the retirement planning specialist, and he can help. But you have to call 888-843-0013, or you can text Adam to 600-700. Coach Pete DeRuta will design for you a total customized retirement plan that will get you to retirement with everything you need to live the life you want. It's a $1,000 value for somebody else. You get it for free. 888-843-0013 for Coach Pete DeRuta.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go.
The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's Enhanced Network. Learn more at USPS.com/holiday-ride.
Adam Gold for my friend Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK with a life-changing moment for you. Make the call now, 919-510-6830. Go online, TraversLASIK.com. Set up your free consultation and get rid of contact lenses and glasses forever. It'll change your life. It'll save you money in the long run, I promise. 15 years ago, Dr. Lori Travers changed my life. 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com. See what you've been missing. Travers LASIK.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
This is Adam Gold.
What, a minute 53 into the game? Heat of the moment?
Right.
What kind of heat of the moment is that? We haven't even gotten to simmer yet.
I know. Did someone flip him off in the parking lot? Like, what are we...
Seriously.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Well, I can't speak suddenly.
You're just
distracted
by Billy Joel.
Yes. Terrible. All right, it's time to check in with our friend Eric Mac Lain, ACC Network, who joins us. Gramlich and Mac Lain, the podcast, has celebrated 42,000 episodes. How many episodes is it now?
We're close to that. We'll be there shortly, and we're going to celebrate big time. We're in the 450s, somewhere in that area.
You guys work too hard.
We have fun, man, and it's one of those things. You're not doing it every day, so it's when you think back, I believe this is our 5th year doing it, which is crazy. Yeah. You probably think it should be more, but we only do 3 episodes a week in football season. Then we go down to 2, and then down to 1. So it's not as frequently as you might think, but we've had a nice little run. It's been fun.
All right, so let's get to. We had our first ACC or rather college football playoff rankings. ACC had 5 teams in the ranking, but only 1 team in the field. Are you concerned, or are you of the mind that, look, these rankings don't matter week to week, not going to sweat it just yet?
I'm an emotional person. I'm a passionate person, and I tend to try to temper myself the best I can, but as you can ask my wife, it doesn't really work. And so, it's one of those things where you're happy for 5, right? That's a big deal. It shows the respect. It shows the depth, of the league. And then some things can get a little interesting. Miami at 4, okay, great. Is what it is. If they win the ACC, they're going to be in the top 4.
Right.
Now, obviously, you would like them to be 1, 2, or 3. You don't necessarily want to be the 4th team. And that might probably will take care of itself. And, accordingly, like Ohio State's not going to be in there if Oregon's in there.
Right.
And so you would assume they move up a level. And the way I guess it would actually shake out, they'd be the 3 seed. BYU would be the 4 seed with the current rankings.
Yep.
If everyone won out. So, you're a little bit, interesting with that. I do take pretty big issue with SMU being 13 and Boise State being 12. And now you could also argue, okay, if it was flipped, and SMU was 12 and BYU, and Boise was 13, Boise would still be in,
right,
be the 12th team. But I don't like setting the precedent of having a G team equal or better than an ACC team, which is a power team. And you can sit here and say, well, they lost super close to the number one team in the country. Well, first of all, they lost. Second of all, that was a very different Oregon team then than it is now. I think Oregon would win by 2 or 3 touchdowns if the game was played today. You also look at the SMU side and say, well, look at their loss. It's to a top 10 team.
Right.
They didn't have their starting quarterback, who they are today, playing in that game or starting in that game. They are drastically different. And I think they would beat BYU by a couple of different scores. So I don't like that happening, and I don't understand the point of it. Once again, Adam, it seems you look all throughout. I mean, Indiana and BYU should be pissed. I mean, the fact that they have 5 one-loss teams in front of them is absurd. And so once again, as I kind of was mentioning, you have a committee that can clearly demonstrate bias, that can clearly be manipulated into whatever agenda they want. And I just don't like that. I don't love it. I love that it's 12. I don't like that we're still falling for the same traps and we're judging and measuring people differently. And somehow, some way, wins is not as impressive as good losses. I mean, what the heck are we doing?
That's what you got to have.
Dumb to me.
In that regard, Clemson should be in the top 5. They have two lost to Georgia and the Louisville. I mean, at home it might not be considered as good, but they're a ranked team.
Yeah.
You know, through all this,
you've got a freaking Bama team that stinks, and they get worked by Vandy, and somehow they're 11. I mean, that's an absolute joke.
Oh, but Vanderbilt became a good loss because Vanderbilt's much better than people think. But we remember when Virginia Tech lost at Vanderbilt, and it was an indictment on the entire Atlantic Coast Conference. Eric Mac Lain is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. We're going to get to games in a second, but I find it interesting.
Sorry, you riled me up getting me going early here.
I know. That's what I do for a living. So it's interesting that in our conversation, we talked Miami. We mentioned SMU. I brought up Clemson. I think Clemson would have to get into and win the ACC tournament at this point, or ACC championship game. Although if they beat South Carolina convincingly in the last regular season game, it might be maybe a little bit different if they got to the ACC championship game and that was a classic and they lost. Maybe, but probably not. But we haven't mentioned Pitt. And here's the thing. Pitt has one loss. Their only loss is that game at SMU. They've got games with Clemson left. They have a game with Louisville left. And if Pitt with one loss ends the season 11-1, which would be wins over Clemson and Louisville, I give Pitt a chance to kind of sneak into the back half of this.
Oh man, I don't think it's sneaking. I think it's pretty commanding, and I'll even double down and I'll guarantee that. I mean, if they win out, they're in the playoff. I mean, that's a virtual lock in my opinion, and especially with it being to a top 10, we assume, SMU team at their house.
Right.
On the road? Absolutely. Yeah, I think Pitt, strangely enough, shouldn't feel as bad as maybe they did Monday morning, Sunday morning, and understand, hey, we still might control our destiny here. Now, obviously, you miss out on the ACC championship most likely unless somebody loses and maybe has to lose a couple of times and you win out. But silver lining, you get a bye going into a playoff. And so I think Pitt's goals are square in front of them, and maybe this is a wake-up call that team needed, which you hate for that to come in a loss, and they rally up and they group back. And the fun thing for me is I got to go to Pittsburgh here in a couple hours, and I'll see that up close and personal and see how they respond. I'm with you. I think Pitt still has everything in front of them and in a really good spot.
All right, so I know the 2 games on the network, Duke at NC State, which – first of all, I think the Blue Devils are really good. They have had maybe the hardest schedule in the league. They should have beaten SMU. I mean, you're +6 in turnovers. You miss a field goal, very makeable one, have another one blocked, either of which would have won the game. They went for 2, which I thought was the right call. Manny Diaz said the quiet part out loud. It's like, I was trying to win it, but, did you watch us kick field goals? So I got it. Totally understood. I thought it was the right move anyway. But now it looks like the Wolfpack have kind of figured things out. typical for them later in the season. They kind of grow into themselves. But I think this game could be absolutely awesome, which is a great lead-in for you on the ACC network.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, you look at CJ Bailey and what he's doing. I mean, I think he alone has kind of rebirthed, the NC State fans' season, where they were like, for a while, like, this sucks, and they're pissed, and nobody's happy, and then this happens. They're like, oh, okay, well, we get to see this guy how many more Saturdays, and hopefully for a couple more years. Yeah, we're in. We're locked in, and I think the young guys have been playing better. Obviously, an explosion last week. I mean, that was fun to watch those guys. I don't expect Waters to have a 97-yard touchdown run every game, but box score wise, that's about what I thought the NC State offense could be. I thought the run game would have a huge boost this year than it had in the previous 5 or however many years we've been covering them on the network, and it hasn't outside of this game. So better late than never. I like that I got to see it at least once, and can that be pieces of what we'll see for the rest of the year? Interested to see that and just how they will continue to grow. And then on the Duke side, as you mentioned, a couple of really tough losses in a row. You felt like you should have beat SMU. You felt like you had every shot in the world, to beat Miami. You're up in the first half, and then, the Canes just go nuclear and play like superheroes. And how are you going to respond? You're already bowling. You figure some stuff out. You take a couple of steps back, and NC State's right there on bowl berth. So it's going to be a great game. We're very lucky, to have it on our network, and excited to, showcase these two teams.
Yeah, I think the Blue Devils are a very good football team, and they will get after the quarterback. It's going to be a fun matchup to watch CJ Bailey deal with that. All right, Miami, they were down 11 in the third quarter to Duke. They came back to beat Virginia Tech. They have struggled with some teams, but they have always, they turn around and they go, oh, that's right, we have Cam Ward. We should be okay. Georgia Tech is tricky. They're a thumbtack on your seat, man. So what kind of dicey situation is Miami walking into in Atlanta this weekend?
Yeah, and they're a bigger thumbtack with Haynes King, and we just don't know. Is he playing? Is he available? Is he still hurt? I'd like to think that he is, and for surely want to see it. See that quarterback matchup, because he's such an eraser, and they are a completely different team with him on the field. But as you said, and as you mentioned, it is all about the Canes, and it's the Cam Ward show. And that guy has been playing at such a high level, Adam, just the ways that he does it. And, I've been talking about this for 11 weeks, but the arm angles, the creativity, the escapability, the understanding of the offense and the defense. I mean, he made a play last week, Goldie, where it was bunch right. So you have 4 receivers over there to the right and kind of a diamond set. And it looks like, based on the initial read of the defense, that he's just going to throw a quick screen. It's basically a glorified run. They pick up whatever, move on to the next play. Well, he kind of waits and sees what the defense does, and then he checks out of it. And he converts to a skinny post by, Jacoby George for a 40-yard touchdown. And you're just like, this guy is different. Because it was under 15 seconds. It's not like he got called in to do it. He made the play because the helmet communication stops at 15. So that was his call, and that was what he saw. And I just love it, man. He's a smart football player. He'll put the ball in jeopardy a little bit because that's just who he is. He thinks he can make every play. And there's going to be some bad that comes with that. But the way Miami's winning, the way that they have weapons and options, I mean, legitimately 4 superstar receivers, a tight end room that is exploding and stepping up every week. Somebody new, like Arroyo's the guy, but here comes a new guy that you didn't even know was on the roster playing at a high level. And then the offensive line and run game has been elite. They are figuring it out offensively at the right time. And I had the privilege to talk with Xavier Restrepo earlier this week, and he said, man, we're never satisfied. We want to strive for perfection. We want to keep growing and doing our thing. And our most immediate goal, every week is score every drive. And if it takes 7 plays, why didn't it take 4 plays? And so that type of mentality, man, is, I think, dangerous. And if they can just get that defense to tune up a little bit, I'm not saying be perfect, but maybe shore up the tackling and, just be in the right place at minimum, they're going to be dangerous. Because if you can score 60, we'll score 61, and they're fine with that. They don't care what it takes.
Eric Mac Lain, ACC Network, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, at Eric Mac Lain on Twitter. Final thing. Should we have seen any of this Florida State implosion? Should we have seen any of it coming? I mean, we thought that this was going to be a top 10 team. And I realized the quarterback thing didn't work out with DJ Uiagalelei, but, man, it shouldn't have gotten this bad.
Yeah. We did our preview, man, back in the summer, and KG and I were kind of going back and forth, and I was like, well, we probably should be a little easier on the Seminoles. I thought 8 wins was probably going to be their ceiling this year. I'd had no inkling, no possible way of thinking that they would be sitting here 8-1 or 1-8. Excuse me. There's no shot that I ever would have thought. And by the way, that one probably should have lost. They probably should not have a win right now, which is crazy to think about how far from grace they have fallen. And quite frankly, and this is the weird part, because I want Florida State to be good. I need Florida State to be good for our network, for the league, for themselves, people I like there. I mean, in this job, you get very intimate with these schools, and I love those people, and I think they do a fantastic job. And it is brutal, man, just to see it. And there is no piece of the program, Adam, where there's any type of momentum. They're losing guys on the recruiting trail. They missed on a ton of transfers. I can only imagine what the NIL booster department's looking like right now and how pissed they are.
Right.
Where are you finding success? I am fascinated to see what January, maybe even, I guess, December through July looks like, and what kind of moves are made, what kind of coaching moves are made. I think Norvell's fine, but you've got to make moves other places. What acquisitions you make player-wise, who leaves. It is going to be fascinating, to say the least, and covering it's going to be wild.
As a guy who played at Clemson for your entire career, and knowing that Florida State really has been, of late, built through the portal, isn't it harder to create any continuity when you do that? Because in many respects, if it falls apart, if the winning is not there early, I mean, you know, it's an old like professional cliche. You get 24 cabs for 24 players. Everybody, it can splinter so easily.
No, there's no question about it, and that's what I was worried about early in the season, and it looks like it has come to fruition. And now even you look at this weekend against Notre Dame. I mean,
oh gosh, no.
Are these guys going to lose by 50?
Yeah.
I mean, what's it going to look like? Are we going to see any fight? Are we going to see any pride at all? From this team and wanting to stay there, and who wants to be there? Who cares about the spear on the helmet, the logo on the jersey, versus the check that who knows? Is it coming? Is it already paid? I don't know how it works, but it is a fascinating thing, man. And yeah, when you hire a bunch of kids for a couple of months, and you're not doing what maybe you thought or what you sold, and now you're staring at one of the worst seasons ever. Yeah, why do I care? I'm not giving any effort. I'm out of here, man. I'm going to train for the NFL.
Exactly.
And it's a terrible spot. I hate it, and I hate where we are in a lot of it, and it's just really unfortunate.
All right. I detect the potential for a broader conversation down the road about the state of college football with Eric Mac Lain from a player angle, right? Because we hear it a lot about from administrators and coaches. We don't hear it a lot from a player angle. So I want to get into that with you next time we chat. I appreciate your time. Enjoy Pittsburgh. There's a lot to like.
No question about it, brother. Great food, hopefully great football. And always a pleasure talking with you, man. Have a great show, buddy.
You too. I'll talk to you later. Eric Mac Lain, ACC Network. We're going to check in with Lee Sterling on the other side, but also a rewind as we talk a little bit about tonight's match between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Pittsburgh Penguins. On the rewind next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
My name's Kate Roper, and I live in Leicester, North Carolina. In September of 2023, I had a tumor removed from my left ear, and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. It was just such a relief knowing that now that I'm covered by NC Medicaid, I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pay for medical treatment now. It's probably saving my life.
See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
ACT Construction Equipment is proud to be your certified local Takeuchi dealer in Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach. Takeuchi has long been a world leader in the compact construction industry. Let ACT Construction Equipment help you find the right machine for the job. Our full line of excavators, track loaders, and attachments are designed for low maintenance and high productivity. Visit us online at actce.com to schedule a demo. ACT Construction Equipment, your authorized Takeuchi dealer.
Are you looking for a 2-year hands-on agricultural degree while still gaining the university experience? I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University. We offer 6 associate's degrees that span the agricultural industry and set our students up to meet their goals. Come live on campus, learn on our farms, and be a part of the NC State community. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
AARP reminds you that November is National Family Caregivers Month. While family caregivers should be celebrated every day, this is the time to recognize and honor those taking care of their loved ones by raising awareness around caregiving issues, educating communities, and working to increase support for our nation's caregivers. Learn about this topic and more by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? Words like, I'm sorry. Like, can I help? Like, have a good day. And it never hurts to say thank you. Couple those words with a big smile and you've got a good chance to make someone's day. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind to everybody. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
Telling my girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
Yeah, but he's real patient, like he
Right.
said in his interview today.
In all other aspects of life.
Yes.
If he's in line at the drive-thru and it's taking a long time, he will not ram the car in front of him.
Exactly. Someone's pressing his shirt. He will wait 30 seconds for it to be crisper.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Lee Sterling in a little bit to get your weekend off to a positive, in the black start, hopefully. So he was 3-2 last week. You know what? If you go 3-2 every week, it's pretty good.
It's not bad.
I mean, you're on the plus side.
Yeah.
If you go 3-2 every week, I mean, depending, if you can vary it up a little bit and end up on the other side of that. But No, 3-2 is fine. If that's your bad week, like if you are somebody that likes to have action on sports, and I do it from time to time, but I certainly don't need it. If you are basically 55%, then you break even.
Yeah.
11 out of 20, you break even. It's not bad. It's just not bad.
No. And it's hard to predict sometimes, so that's good.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. All the time.
Right.
Like, I do think that tonight Sidney Crosby scoring a goal against the Hurricanes, as much as I don't want to see Sidney Crosby scoring a goal, he was the 5th choice among goal scorers tonight in terms of the value of anytime goal scorer. He scored 5 of the Penguins' last 8 goals. Of course he's going to score. If Pittsburgh scores, it'll be him. So, I brought that up earlier. Plus 210.
Exactly.
Plus 210. All right. Lee Sterling in about 5 or so minutes. Right now, we have time for a rewind. It's easy to talk about the electricity that is Martin Necas. He could light an entire city by himself at this point. EJ Hradek, NHL Network, joined us. I asked him about maybe some other surprises about the Hurricanes.
Well, I guess Jackson Blake has come in and played pretty well
Yes.
as a young player. I mean, so that's, when young players come in and, you don't know how it's going to go. And, he's got, I guess it's 3-4 goals right now and, kind of finding his way. And you need that to happen to you as you're changing over your roster a little bit. As guys leave, new guys had to fill in. And, we had Eric Tulsky on first shift the other day. And, he credited the scouts with the idea of filling those spots, right? He talked about that, we're looking for like most teams, we're looking for a match. We're looking for somebody not only that fits with us, but we fit with them. And, so I think a lot of those guys have come in and done well. And then you got young Jackson Blake, who's, a draft pick who comes out of, University of North Dakota. And, it's nice when those guys can come in and contribute. So we'll see if he can continue that. Obviously, it's, Matvei Michkov, who's the big star for the Flyers. He's a healthy scratch tonight. So, I mean, these guys go through ups and downs. Michkov's a little younger than Blake, but, it's good to see Jackson Blake come in and play well.
Well, very quickly on Blake, the kid's got I think, an advanced hockey brain, and he's not big. I was somewhat surprised standing next to him in the locker room the other day, and I'm like, not a big kid. But hockey is a sport that allows you, if you have sense, if you are smart, you can get away with not being big. Jeff Skinner's not big. What Jeff Skinner is thick. And a great skater and incredible lower body strength. And I think Jackson Blake over time will definitely develop that. But he's already strong. But he is super, super smart. I love his game. If you want to find Jackson Blake, look around the opposing net. He's likely near it. The goal that Jack Drury threw the pass out in front to Blake was just incredible. Here's what's interesting to me about the Hurricanes, and let me just do this one quick aside. They need Pyotr Kochetkov to be better than he was against the Flyers. They'll need it tonight. He's going to play tonight, his 5th straight start, but they need him to be better than he was against the Flyers. That was not good enough. Hurricanes survived Pyotr Kochetkov not being good enough, and not being good enough on a night where Carolina wasn't really good enough, but they outscored their problems. It's not always going to happen. You're not going to get 5 goals every night in the NHL. And they ended up with 6. The last one, obviously, the empty netter. But I am surprised that the Hurricanes are 9-2-0. Again, 11 games, small sample size. And Sebastian Aho is tied for 7th in goals. I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have thought that a 9-2-0 start would have been possible with Sebastian Aho being largely, for him, unproductive on the score sheet. But you've got Necas and Roslovic, each with 7 goals. Svechnikov has 5. Shane Gostisbehere, Seth Jarvis, and Jackson Blake all have 4. Aho's going to go on a scoring binge soon, whenever, who knows, maybe it starts tonight. He has had some pretty good success against Pittsburgh in his career. But it is amazing, and it shows you that, A, the Hurricanes front office, when they went out and got players to replace the departed Teuvo Teravainen, Steph Nason, Jake Gensel, they found good fits. Blake, little bit of found money, because if he doesn't have a great training camp, that's likely Brendan Lemieux on that line or Tyson Jost on that line. And I do find it interesting that Hurricanes have found plenty of offense. And, of course, Necas is scoring for 2 players. He has been beyond anything that we could have expected. So it really has been amazing. But they need better goaltending than they're currently getting from Pyotr Kochetkov. And again, 5th straight game. I would say half of his games have been good and half have been not quite up to par. So we'll see. But they need better from Kochetkov. Now, the Necas thing, and I just want to make it clear, he is not a superstar in the league. That's not what he is. At least you can't declare him that yet. But what we have always known about Necas is that he has a level of skill that he can influence games in a positive way right out of the not right out of the chute, but at times. But for the first time that I can recall, actually, I think there's one other example, and I'll make it in a sec. Necas played the role of superstar, where you could tell that he was going to do everything in his power to not have that game go into overtime. Stayed on the ice longer than he should have, but he impacted the game in such a massive way. He was clearly, of the 10 players skating around on the ice, he was clearly the alpha. Both teams. Nobody on Philadelphia had an answer for him. And eventually, the end of that second shift in a row, he produced a moment of incredible magic. Now, if he continues to do things like that, well, who knows? Maybe he is a future superstar. But the only other time I'd seen him do that was in the playoffs against Nashville in the crazy pandemic Central year, when he went in a game which was Hurricanes were losing in the third period. I think it was 1-0. Necas did a wraparound, made a wraparound attempt and a goal where I am going to tie this game right now. That's where, to me, the only other time I've seen that. But he has been just absolutely awesome. Aho is still their best player. He is the best player because he plays both ends of the ice, and he rarely makes mistakes. Necas is still prone to defensive lapses. I know we don't want to admit that, but he is. And that line has allowed more grade A chances
so what are you waiting?
Than the other lines. Almost combined, believe it or not. But if you are going to produce at this rate offensively, and forget about Necas not going to have 150 points this year, but if you are going to produce at anything close to the rate that Necas and company are producing, then the head coach has no choice but to look the other way and say, just point out, hey, we still need you to do this here. We still need you to be here, not here. But good on you. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, joining us now on the Adam Gold Show. It is a very, very big weekend. We had our first college football playoff rankings this week, and there was only one ACC team in the field, but that's fine. We'll get over it. All right, Lee, I know you were 3-2 last week. Let's start local. Let's start with the Wolfpack and the Blue Devils. I was surprised. It got away from Duke late. It certainly did look like they were in good shape in the third quarter when they led by 11. State at home is a 3-point favorite.
And this Wolfpack team is a totally different team from a month ago. CJ Bailey, who I told everyone this kid's going to finally get it. I saw him as a ninth grader, started slow but came on, and then went on a 3.5-year run. I think he's going to do the same for you guys. You also got Jordan Waters.
Yeah.
Got a little revenge.
A little
bit. Used to being the Duke running back. And NC State, when they go to a bowl, that's important. I think the quarterback edge is huge here. I just think Murphy, he is who he is. His inaccuracy throwing the football sometimes was shown up in the fourth quarter against Miami. I mean, you shouldn't be winning going into the fourth quarter and lose by 22. Shouldn't happen. I mean, even though Miami's offense is really good. So I think NC State, I think this line is short here. I think NC State's going to win this game 31-23.
Yeah, I like the Wolfpack in this one as well. And then you go back a couple of weeks ago, Duke losing a game when they are +6 in turnovers, which is really hard to do. Matter of fact, they're the first team ever to do it.
And then also on top of that, another thing, Adam, is mentally, where is Duke? I mean, they lost that game 2 weeks ago, and then they gave it their all for 3 quarters.
Yep.
They had absolutely nothing left in that last quarter against Miami.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And they're in the middle of a stretch of games against big-time opponents that was always going to be difficult anyway. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, at Paramount Sports on Twitter, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Let me get one other ACC game in before we talk about the Panthers. Miami, 11 points at Georgia Tech. Maybe in normal situations, Georgia Tech isn't as good as Miami. We don't know about Georgia Tech's quarterback, but I just get the feeling that going to Bobby Dodd in the second weekend in November, this is going to be a tricky game for Miami.
It is, and going on the road, Miami has not been as good as they've been at home. Then you throw in the Haynes King dual threat quarterback who, I mean, he gave Miami fits last year in the upset. I mean, obviously, Mario not taking the was the final coup de grace.
Yes.
I mean, that's still, they'll be talking about that game 50 years from now. But the bottom line is, with Haynes King in, they are a different team. Their backup quarterbacks just cannot throw the football. And he does give you that type of, big play capability. Miami's top 2 cornerbacks are out. They're going to get their top guy who's been out since the Florida game in the opening week. They'll get him back, it looks like, after the bye. But they lost one of their other starting cornerbacks. Their linebackers in coverage have been, a big problem. They've had to go to more zone, especially in the fourth quarter against Duke. So is their defense good? No, it's not great, but I think they can hang around here. I think Miami wins the game 35-30. I think 11's too much.
Yeah, I think 11 is too much as well. All right, I also think 6 is too much for the Giants in Germany. Although I don't know if it's metric or not. If it's the same number because it's in Germany. If the Panthers can protect Bryce Young, I like Carolina in this game.
I do too. I mean, not a good game for the Londoners. I mean, the 2-7 Panthers and 2-7 Giants.
Right.
This game could be huge to decide who gets the first pick. Could happen.
Right.
So be careful whoever wins this game because both teams probably looking for quarterbacks. At least the Giants aren't at home. For them, they're 0-5. Carolina has surrendered 18 touchdown passes, but Daniel Jones, only 2 touchdowns since week 5. Giants have gone 8 consecutive games also without an interception. They could be without – I don't know if I've ever seen this happen. They're starting punter and down to their third-string kicker with Joseph and Graham Gano also injured. So I'm going to say, it's going to be fitting. No team is going to be able to walk away with a big win here. Giants win 23-21. I think you take Carolina in the points.
Isn't Germany an ally? What are we doing? Why did we export this game? Lee Sterling at Paramount Sports on Twitter. Final game. Georgia going to Ole Miss. This is usually a spot where Ole Miss does something silly.
Yep, they do, and Ole Miss is they just keep failing in big spots. They're like the Penn State of the SEC. Let's be honest. I mean, they have not fared well against Georgia. 1-11 in the series, 4-8 against the spread. I can't trust Lane Kiffin. Call a good game. The reason why Ole Miss looks so good, Arkansas absolutely couldn't put any pressure. I mean, they had defensive linemen who looked like they were chicken fighting on the offense with the offensive linemen. Within a yard or two of the line of scrimmage, making no effort to get upfield. Also, I think something's going on with Carson Beck. I think he's distracted. He's dating one of the hate to say this, but I think he's dating one of the Cavender twins, and he's driving around in that Lambo. So he's got to get his head on straight. He was probably a top 10 pick in the first round. Now he's probably 18 to 20 if they held the draft today. But without Trey Harris, I don't think he's going to play again. I doubt it. And also Henry Parrish, their best running back out. I think Georgia's going to come to play like they did against Texas. Wrong team favorite here. Nope. Georgia, 31-23 over Ole Miss.
31-23. Yep. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, at Paramount Sports on Twitter. My friend, I will talk to you next week. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
You got it. Lee Sterling here on the Adam Gold Show. Is he dating one of the Cavender twins? I have no idea. I really don't. I don't pay attention to that. But I'm sure there's websites that do. Those are, of course, where the during the pandemic, they played basketball at Fresno State, and when there was nothing else to do, they just made basketball videos. They're both blonde. Men gravitate to the internet. So there you go. I do like State this weekend. I think we'll talk about it more tomorrow as we get into a whole bunch of different things. Canes tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Carolina going for 8 in a row before going out on the road to Colorado, Vegas, and Utah. Victoria, thank you very much. See everybody tomorrow on the Adam Gold Show. Bye.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.